Yes, sorry. Yeah. Hey, guys, it's Otto. I decided to start 15 minutes earlier because in Sweden, it's our culture. So, did you see my fantastic win against the hillbilly bum? Right, let's see what people are arriving. Now, you might have noticed that I can't do no intros. I haven't got my banner. Which says how you can Bitcoin, Litecoin, but you can see that in the description. I've had the dumbass StreamYard logo because they put up StreamYard put up their cost from £22 a month, which is a rip-off anyway. So I can have an intro video and a couple of banners and a couple of graphics from £22 to $34.99 or $35.99. So I'm doing this on the free StreamYard. It limits a bit what I can do, but fuck them. I don't pay no £35 just so I can put a few graphics up. There's Riverside, there's other free stuff. I'm gonna have a look into it, and I got some good guests next week. So let's start it. I mean, the only reason I really want and use StreamYard is because I can put my comments in, and that's it. I got to pay £35 a month for that. This is ridiculous, guys. Yes, back in the game 77. Yes, Triple B, I'm here. Oh, my boy Nordic Warrior is in the house. Yo, what up, Nordic? I watched one of your videos today. Great to see Nordic Warrior. Check out Nordic Warrior's channel. It's called Nordic Warrior, obviously. And he does very good videos. Nordic, he's been in a lot of like non-boxing content with Red Pill stuff, which I appreciate, by the way. But there isn't much good boxing going on, is there? Who cares? I mean, Nordic says, "Oh, God bless you, bro. I gotta go to work now, unfortunately." Yeah, I saw the video, man. Well, good luck, man. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for saying hi. Everyone, check out Nordic Warrior's channel and subscribe to it. And make sure you subscribe, like, donate, hype this channel, because we got a special guest today. Who? Otto Wallin. Otto All-In. Oil drilling. Automatic Wallin. I appreciate it, mate. No problem, brother. You're my brother. I met my mans as well. We met in person, bro. Me and Nordic at a fight. I can't remember whether it was in Manchester, England, or whether it was in Sheffield, England, but it was great to see you, bro. So I've gone live a bit early, so we'll wait and see what people come in. I mean, really, we can talk about anything you want. Why? Because there's no boxing. That was it, Nordic. I thought it was Manchester, England, at Woodlara 2. That's right. It was great to meet you, man. God bless you, man. I hope you're well. Do you know who I haven't seen for ages, man? Lee Talks Boxing. Nordic, have you seen Lee Talks Boxing? I haven't seen him for ages, man, which is a shame. He hasn't uploaded. I don't know what's going on with that, but I hope he's okay. God bless Lee Talks Boxing, because Lee was always here, man. But it's great to see you here, man. Enjoy your work as much as you can. God bless you. We're on the same team, bro. We're the same community. We're the same people. We're Red Pill Christians, and we know reality. We know about reality, and we know about truth. So, boxing. Essentially, this is a boxing channel. Although it's a Red Pill channel too, but what's going on in boxing? So there is it's called The Heist. The Heist, which is a BS name anyway. Okay. In fact, wait, let me just message my boy Big Mac. I'm gonna tell Big Mac I'm on, Big Mac. Big Mac's here. I'm on now, brother. Yeah, he's gonna be on. My boy, my man's Big Mac is gonna be on. Yeah, here he is. My man's live starts now. Yeah, sorry, man. No, I said 7 p.m., bro. But I did start a bit earlier because I was just sitting there wearing my Otto Wallin outfit, thinking, you know, it's time for some oil drilling. It's oil drilling time. So here we are. So the boxing tonight, the heist. Now, what's the heist? You know GBM, right? So he's a new GBM is that big Asian guy. I can't remember his name. He actually went pro. He had I don't know, 4 fights, and he manages Huey Fury, or he promotes Huey Fury rather. He has little shows here and there. I think he's had 1 or 2 on DAZN. This one is on DAZN, and it's called The Heist, which is what? I mean, that's not very imaginative. The Heist. The Heist. That's like calling it Layer Cake or Snatch or something like that. But whatever, man. It's a prize fighter style tournament, you know, which have always been rubbish. I thought they would work well, yeah, because you've got 3 fights to win the final, and you've got 8 fighters, I think, and they fight 3 rounds only a piece. So you think, well, they're going to put it all in. They're going to put it all in, but they don't, because the problem with pros is they're too used to fighting 6, 8, 10, 12 rounds. So they the heavyweight ones are quite good. This is a middleweight one. There's some okay fighters there. Jermaine Brown, a couple of Asian guys who I've never heard of. Steve Woodall's going to be there, but he's not anymore. So, Bang Daddy Baddy's there. You remind me of the Birdman from Ed Gein. Oh, blood clot. Right, Ed Gein, you know on Netflix, they did the Jeffrey Dahmer show, which was actually quite funny, but gross. Quite well acted. It was full of agenda, though. You know, even the police was accusing Jeffrey Dahmer character. Goes, oh, you're only targeting black guys because you know they're from an impoverished community and you can easily take advantage of them. And I thought, no, it's because Jeffrey Dahmer liked brown Corey. It's ridiculous. But you know, there was loads of that BS. You know, but it wasn't bad, and they had the Menendez brothers. But if you notice, in all of these shows, all of these Netflix shows, they call it Monster. They always inject a lot of batty business, a lot of creepiness, a lot of agenda. So Ed Gein, the show, Ed Gein was a guy who he's a serial killer, right? And what he done was he used to go to like graveyards and stuff and dig up women's bodies and cut off their dead bodies, cut off their faces and wear them. And I was like, I watched about 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm not watching this shit. But this guy, the Birdman from Ed Gein, is Richard Speck, who's another serial killer. And apparently he had a great time in prison. And he had female hormones brought into prison with him. So he actually had breastises. And someone sent me a video, and I'm like, "What on earth is this?" And it was Richard Speck, the Birdman, getting battered in the back door by some black guy, obviously, yeah, with titties. And I was like, "This is the most disgusting stuff I've ever seen." And they showed this on Netflix. Kids watch this. Yeah, so. Without further, I thought the heist was Jake Paul fight when they fleeced the idiots out of their hard-earned jeans. Yeah. By watching a fixed fight. Well, so Javonte Davis has been. He can't help himself but batter women. But to be honest, you know, he's only 5'5". He's a midget, and you know, he can't help himself from slapping women up. And Jake Paul got on his high horse. We won't feature this guy. We won't feature a woman beater. I'm like, well, hang on, Jake Paul. What about all the other 4 instances when you signed him of him slapping women up? He didn't have a problem with that. And I mean, I don't care about Jake Paul with his fake fights and his stupid tattoos and, you know, his Illuminati stuff. But yeah, he's a thief. Ah, cool. Michael Malone, even tribute all. Some nonsense Winston Churchill on TV. Winston Churchill is one of the biggest frauds and scams of all time, right? Let me tell you this for nothing. Before the Second World War, in 1936, right, they said Germany's now getting really powerful. And you remember Adolf Hitler was the Time Man of the Year in the 1930s. And you know, he was worried. He didn't want to get Germany to get powerful again, right? Because they were so scrapped by the Versailles Treaty, and all their lands, all these lands full of German people were given to Poland and Russia and places like this. Anyway, In 1936, Winston Churchill, that piece of shit, said, I don't care who's running Germany, secret society this, a Christian or this, we will destroy it in 1936. And he turned down eight different opportunities not to go to war. People think Germany started World War II. Well, they didn't really. They invaded a small part of Poland because it was full of Germans who were being killed and persecuted. And Germany said, look, to Poland, look, stop doing this. And they refused. So they invaded it. Just that area. And what happened? France, England, the UK, and other countries declared war. The UK also invaded the Faroe Islands, and I think even Iceland. And the history they teach is BS, man. Anyway, you can look into that. And also, Winston Churchill was married to an American princess whose people favor a small hat, and he was going broke. His estate was going broke. So what did they do? They said, look, we'll give you 150,000 pounds sterling, which was a lot in those days, to save your estate, but you follow us. Winston Churchill is one of the biggest pieces of shit ever. He killed, because of him, all these British soldiers were killed, sacrificed. Britain was wrecked. 65,000 civilians were killed in bombings, which, by the way, guess who was the first person to bomb civilians in the Second World War? Britain. Britain bombed civilian towns first. Germany did it in retribution. Anyway, that's another story. This is a boxing channel. Yes, Maloney. Hope you and the family are well, brother. Yeah. How's the move going, bro? I hope you're well. It's always great to see you. Boxing Classics HQ. All the boys are here, man. You see Reddy Raheem's interview with Don Charles. That man needs to move on. 1 hour interview moaning about the fires. Well, I think Daniel Dubois, who is my biological son, I left, and Don Charles is creepy. He's weird. He's just another grifter. And he says, I've made guys from nothing. No, you haven't. Daniel Dubois was experienced heavyweight when you took him on, you piece of shit. Jose Correa. I like the blonde wig, brother. It's Otto Wallin, because that's the biggest fight of the weekend. Otto Wallin. You can see my videos on it. Otto Wallin, the oil drilling. He's renamed himself. He was all in Wallin. Now he's oil drilling. Automatic Wallin. What a bum. And the guy, he took part in a clearly fixed fight, man. What about Dana White getting investigated by the FBI? That is very interesting. Oscar De La Homo, he's creepy. I don't trust him. I don't like him. He gives me the creeps. Yeah, he was a good fighter, but he does his clapback Thursdays. Welcome to Clapback Thursday. He's so camp. Welcome to Clapback Thursday, the best part of boxing. And he started going on about how Dana White was being investigated by the FBI for fixing fights. And I don't think anyone's surprised by that. But if they're investigating fixing fights, they should look at Otto Wallin's fight last night. Big up the Austrian painter. He did some fantastic paintings. He was a great watercolorist. I've actually looked into buying some of his works, but they're quite expensive. But history is written by the victors and by those that control the narrative. Don't believe it. Anyway, you know what really makes me laugh? People that go to university and they go, oh, I've got a degree in history. Oh, I went to Oxford, I got a degree in history. I know all about history. Don't tell me what I do. I said, all you're doing is reading a narrative from people that won and the bankers that backed them, and you're taking that as a truth. You're an idiot. The number of Oxbridge people that I know who are idiots, NPCs, moronical. Yep, Michael Maloney knows. True on Churchill and the warmongers. Exactly, man. They even got Rudolf Hess to parachute into Scotland to try and make peace. Don Charles' greatest moment was David Gay broke his jaw. Do you know what I find weird about that, right? I remember that. That was like nuts, right? It was after, what is it? After the Vitaly Klitschko Chisora fight. And they've got a press conference. David A turns up and he's got a beer in his hand, a Corona. And, Chisora starts running with a couple of breaders behind him. He starts running towards, David Hay aggressively. And right, there's something called the 1967 Criminal Law Act. And what that says is that if someone comes towards you and you feel they are about to hurt you and do you physical damage, you are allowed to defend yourself and hit them first, using reasonable force. So you can't like just stab someone up or batter them to death, but you're allowed to whack them. And that's exactly what David Hay did. Two big brothers came up, started giving them mouth, crash. And then Don Charles tried to approach Hay as well. Boom, he got smacked too. And his baseball cap came off and he fractured his jaw. What I find amazing, though, is David A, in boxing, right? You get guys like David A, Riddick Bowe, who hit Larry Donald with a brutal couple of shots. The guys they hit don't even go over. Don Charles didn't go over. Chisora didn't go over. Larry Donald didn't go over. What's the other one? Oh, Adam Booth got smashed in the head by a huge, heavy filming podium. And even he didn't go over. They was talking shit. Oh, the man's here. The man's here. I had Elmo and the juju stick to summon Shane Bongos, but I don't need to. I'm on my own tonight, says Shane. Come on. I'm on my own tonight, no beauties. Well, sometimes you got to give your Corey a rest, bro. Sometimes you got to give your Corey a rest. You're having a takeaway, you're having a Chinese like Big John Fisher. Thank you for the 555, very generous. I also got to say thank you. He's not here yet. Peter Richards gave me £25 super sticker. Very generous. I hope you're feeling better, Peter. Michael, Don Charles has no pride. He's been battered and fired by Chisora multiple times, yet he always comes back for more money. I mean, boxing is about money, right? But Don Charles is a bit of a fraud. He's just managed to... You get guys like Tunde, like Don Charles, and all they do is they hang around gyms and amateur shows and pro shows, and they start speaking in people's ears. And eventually someone signs on to them, right? And Don Charles bragging like, oh, I brought up my fighters from scratch. What do you mean? Daniel Dubois was experienced when you had him on. You're a bum, Don Charles. That's right. You can hit someone that comes towards you. That's true. You can. You have to use reasonable force. And how that's defined is up to the court. But one hit on the end of the chin is reasonable force. Yeah. If you hit them on the chin, you knock them out, and then you jump up and down on their head like it's a tambourine, that could be considered unreasonable force. But always remember that, and always quote that. This other guy came up to me in the pub the other day, right? No joke, right? No joke, right? This is a couple of weeks ago. And he was drunk, and he was starting on everyone. And I'm like, don't start on me, mate. And he came up to me and goes, yeah, what are you looking at? I said, just piss off. You're a mug. And he goes, yeah, you want some of this? This guy was about 5'8" and 11 stone. And I said, listen to me. Do you know the 1967 Criminal Law Act? He's like, people start looking at me. What? I said, do you know the 1967 Criminal Law Act? I said, you got to learn it. Because that act says that I'm allowed to whack you out now just for coming up to me and threatening me. And he walked off and started talking to himself. He was just nuts. I was never going to whack him, but I was just saying, just be careful, bro. You can't go around starting on people. Because the 1967 Criminal Law Act allows you to chin someone. My boy Memes, great to see you. Otto Walini, Otto Manic. Yeah, that's what he's called himself here, right? He was all in, one in. And, to me, he's Otto all drilling well in. But he's called himself the Automatic, not the Automaniac, which sounds better, even though he doesn't fight like a maniac. He's Otto, the Automatic. Oh, what a great play on words, Otto. And he's fought a 5'10" middleweight who threw one punch, took Otto hit, he missed him with a left uppercut. This Chris Thomas fell over against the ropes with his huge belly. And he's one of those stupid guys that have got massive, like, them massive tattoos where the entire arm is black. Imagine how much money, number one, how much money it costs to get your entire arm tattooed black. It's not something you can do in 5 sessions, in 5 hours. You got to spend hours on it. For what? To turn your arm black? To turn your arm black? And it poisons your blood. It's nuts, man. Yep, sponsored by the Shane Bongos Cotto. As I said to you, I have stopped paying StreamYard because they wanted me to go up from 22 quid, which was over the top anyway, to 35 quid a month, just so I can have a couple of bangers. And now I've got that stupid logo. I think it's up here. I don't care. And I can't play intro videos, but so what, man? The main thing is I want to. So I'm going to look at other mediums, or other media, I should say. There's Riverside, there's other stuff, but so for the moment we've got to put up with like this StreamYard thing. Shame. I just bought Kirsty some underwear for next Saturday. What kind of underwear, brother? What color? Tell me what color. Is it kinky? Is it? Do you know what? I had a girlfriend, right? I spent a lot of money on her because I was rich back in the day, and she was a bit, younger than me, and I bought this lovely underwear, and I only saw it once because we split up, and I thought, blood clot, I spent like £200 on nice underwear, classy underwear, and now she's wearing it while she's getting smashed by another man's Corey. I was like, well, that was a stupid idea. Is Bend Over's son the new Don Charles? You mean like Ben Davison, right? I think they're very similar. I think Ben Davison must have something, not just being sponsored by certain people, but he must have something, right? Because all these guys, at least Don Charles is boxed. He claimed he had 12 amateur fights. I can only find one, which is a stoppage against Harry Sr., but whatever. At least he's boxed at heavyweight. Ben Davison has done nothing but hold the pads and sit there with a stupid grin on his face. But for some reason, who's the first one? Was it Billy Joe Saunders and then Tyson Fury? And all these guys started training with him. He must have something. Now, it's not boxing knowledge. It's obviously, he's never boxed. What does he know about boxing? Oh, you've got to dig in there and throw your jab. It's like, well, what do you know about that, Ben? You've never even done it, you mug. Right? But you must be, when you're a good boxer, you mainly learn how to box in the amateurs, right? The people that teach you how to box well are your amateur trainers. By the time people turn pro, they've got the skills. Who's going to teach Tyson Fury or Billy Joe Saunders or Floyd Mayweather how to box? You need someone just to get you fit, motivate you, make you happy to go in the gym, and that's what Ben Davison has. I don't know about Don Charles. Did Otto even hit the bloke in the head? No, well, it looked like he missed him. And the commentary was like, oh, maybe he's twisted his knee, but he fell on his fat ass. He waited till the count of 5, and then turned over on his back. So he was lying there, on his front. So he was lying there with his ass in the air, and just took the 10 count. So, I don't think so. Donnie, the Korean Corey King has arrived. Donnie, do you want to tell us about stuff? But great to see you, my man. You remember I had Donnie on the channel, on a live, talking about Korean boxing? My man is a good friend. I hope I can go to Korea. It all depends on what's going on. But, Donnie, great to see you, man. I don't know what 10,000, is it one? 10,001 is that? I was hoping it was going to be 10,000 GBP, but I hope you're well, brother. If you want to talk about the triple K, Donnie is the triple K now. What does that mean? The Korean Corey King. If you want to tell me about it, and what I will. But yeah, thank you, brother. Bless you so much. Boxing classes, nothing on tonight. No boxing or BKFC. I don't think it's BKFC. I missed one from last week. I'm going to watch it. There is a prize fighter style tournament done by GBN. Prize fight tournament is just whack. It's on days on at 8. You know, it's like 3-round fights and blah, blah. And you go forward to the final. The winner wins 25 grand, but they're wank. I went to see it through. The only ones that are good are the heavyweight ones because heavyweights will knock a man out. Yeah, I agree with you. 100% without further. Otto should be Otto all in, oil drilling match. I told you in my video, if you see my video, it's quite weird. He's obviously got a new oil well because there was a woman going, yo, Otto, throw you jab. You know what I'm saying? It was quite obviously a black woman. And you could hear it. And I'm going, that's Otto's new pit of pum pum. Another oil driller. That's it, man. There's a lot of oil drilling going on. Yeah, can't be bothered to stay up for the Ortiz fight. Oh, Virgil Ortiz. Yeah, I'll watch it tomorrow. No way I'm staying up for that. The only fights I will stay up for are going to be heavyweight fights involving very good fighters. And that's it. Are you buying DAZN Ultimate Super subscriptions with 12 pay-per-views? How do we define pay-per-views now? Is Otto willing a pay-per-view now? So this is interesting. So DAZN keep on changing the way they do business. And they offer you all these different subscriptions. Firstly, it's only $1.99 a month, no pay-per-views. Then it became $6.99 a month. Then it became X a month. Then they started to do pay-per-views. Then they said, oh, but you can save money if you buy 1 year up front. I mean, who can keep up with it? And J.O. Pitaya is going to fight Hussein Shinkara, right? Who's an Egyptian who's going to bang out. Right now, that was going to be on 3 days on, I think, at least in the UK. They've taken it off, and in Australia now they've taken it off. So if you're if you bought the Australian days on, you were told you could have a J. Pitaya fight, but now you can't. Right now you can't. Now you've got to pay Stan TV like 60 Australian dollars to watch J. Pitaya. Why? Australians get rinsed, man. My boy Tinto Brass Balls. Shane Bongos needs some Grace Jones to win his joy. Now, Grace Jones, you're talking 11:59 p.m., man. You're talking an oil slick with 2 marbles. But she loves white boys. She's what black guys call a snow queen. A snow queen. So that's a black girl that only goes for white men. And I banged a few Snow Queens, and they said, "Oh man, I wouldn't even go near a black guy." And yeah, Grace Jones, Ivan Drago, Dolph Lundgren, but weirdly, who's the ultimate blonde Chad, smashed Grace Jones. Owen Foster, I quite like Virgil Ortiz. Oh, sorry, Tinto. If I didn't say it, Tinto, thank you so much for the tenner. That's very generous, man. Hi, all. I quite like Virgil Ortiz. He's entertaining. Yep. And he comfortably beat Madrimov. I thought it was close-ish. I was impressed with him that night. I wasn't expecting him to win due to his past illness. Virgil Ortiz is the kind of fighter you want to watch because he's exciting, right? He's exciting. He goes for the stoppage. I guess he's I think he's Mexican American. But you know, I always want to watch fighters that don't want to go the distance, that want to finish people off. So Virgil Ortiz, he's fighting Erickson Lubin, who is not a bad fighter, but he's had 2 stoppages by 2 losses by stoppage. Who was it? Quite a good guy stopped him. Let me have a look, man. I like to get my data correct. Erickson Lubin. So Erickson Lubin, let's have a look at him. So Erickson Lubin has 27 wins, 19 KOs, with only 2 losses, but both by stoppage. And he lost them to Jermel Charlo in the first round. That doesn't sound great. And Sebastian Fundora in 9 rounds. He's beaten a couple of unbeaten guys in his last 2 fights. Jesus Ramos Jr. on points, and Andreal Holmes Jr., who was unbeaten, in 17. So yeah, that'll be a good fight. You got 2 bangers. So yeah, that's worth watching, but I'm not staying up for it. You know what I'm saying? Michael Maloney. I heard something about DAZN Ultimate Subscription. F that. Yeah, they had this. They've offered a new package for the customer where if you pay a certain amount of money, you had to pay X a month. It's like 25 GBP, I think, and you get 12 free pay-per-views or some nonsense like that. Or it's something ridiculous like £44 a month. They keep on changing their subscription types. I mean, you can't keep up with it. Shane Bongos. Oh, you're buying black underwear for your girl. Kirsty's getting some black underwear. I'll raffle. I'll raffle an evening with Kirsty to the fans. Well, man, we'll do it here. We'll do it here. We'll do it next week, man. We will. I mean, Kirsty, you're hot, right? You said she's hot. But the thing I want to know is how good her stew making skills are. Because that, when you take care of business, after that, you want a good stew. Okay. Ben Davidson was a boxing coach with some undefeated guy. I forgot his name. Thinks he's called Wiley or something. Talking of Wiley, I don't know who you're talking about, but Wiley, Free Wiley. What happened to Wiley? He got cancelled. Why? Because he spoke out about how twisted and corrupt the music industry is. And he called out the people you're not allowed to call out. Owen says, Don Charles has gone into obscurity where he belongs. Who's Don Charles got now? I don't know, really. I don't know who he's got. I don't actually know anyone. Oh, Furq's in the house. What's up, brother? Great to see you. All the guys are here. What up, Triple B? Boxing on live sport now. Well, I mean, it's you know, I look at the agenda that's coming up, and I'm like, what am I going to look forward to? Conor Bum Eubank 2, an unnecessary rematch, which means nothing between a welterweight and a super middleweight with no title. I want to. What you want me to pay for that? There's one good bill. One good bill with Baturbiev, right? Let me have a look. But again, it's pay-per-view. It seems like the Saudi money hasn't dried up, but they're pulling a bit away. So what we've got on the 20, when is it? Oh, it's not even listed here, man. But if I remember, it's in November or December. It's got Bam Rodriguez, Anthony Yard vs Benavidez. Yard, to give him credit, his trainers obviously are Bell End. Lions in the camp. Lions in the camp. Lions in the camp. Lions in the camp. Right? So Anthony Yard always gives it his all. So I give him that. Even though he's clearly juicing. Oh, my boy Acoustic says, remember to like and to sub and to hype and to share and to donate and to everything, man. Michael Malone, I won't pay DAZN no more. The stream dropped during Joshua Dubon. They should reimburse me so they can get lost. It's very difficult to get reimbursement. I have managed it once on a TNT fight. It was a heavyweight fight. It kept on dropping out. There was 20 minutes of blank. So I screenshotted everything. I got back to them. They originally refused. No. Oh, I'm sorry you only lost 20 minutes of your paid combat subscription, your pay-per-view, but you still watch the main event. And I was like, nah. And I'd taken shots of the stream dropping, and I got my money back. But it's tough, man. That's right. Sharing and liking is free. The man Otto had his entire arm covered in black. I know it's nuts. Things like Machine Gun Kelly and Ronnie Radke have parts of their bodies covered in tattoos as well. I find it odd. Well, not only do I find it odd because it looks ugly, why would you say, yeah, I really want a totally black arm? It costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of time. look, I don't know how much a tattoo artist charges, but it's got to be £30 an hour, surely, minimum. And how many hours does it take just to tattoo your arm black? It's got to be like 50 hours of work, man. Idiots they are. If Ortiz's fight was on earlier, I'd watch it in all fairness. Yeah, I mean, you can probably watch it on YouTube tomorrow. Lubin was actually mentioning Mike Tyson's autobiography. Really? What did he say? Mike Tyson's autobiography is one of the most depressing things I've read. Because he doesn't even talk about boxing that much. He talks about orgies, cocaine, you know. Tyson signed at one point and thought he was enthusiastic. But he had to be more patient, select him punches, be more calm. I mean, I didn't realize Mike Tyson was managing and promoting. Boy memes. End pay-per-views. $80 for Pitbull Beast vote. $80 for Pitbull Beast Roach. Yeah, PBC is trash. It is trash. And then they wonder why people buy sticks, fire sticks. They go on streams. Right? I would never. I will pay pay-per-view if it's a real good build. Why? Because I don't want to miss any of the action. Like Otto Wallin. I don't want to miss any of the action. I want to see the fight. I want to see it clear. I will do it live. I will talk about it. But if you expect me to pay to watch a substandard piece of shit, you know, boxing match, forget about it, man. Sorry. Don Charles is that rubbish Albanian IBO champ, the boxer stinker against the African. Oh, man, that was awful, right? So the pay-per-view, which, by the way, I didn't pay for. I refuse to pay for. Don't smoke, because apparently your eyes will become like this. But yeah, $24.99 for the Georgia Parker Woody fight. Now, luckily, the Parker Woody fight was good. But before that, they had the Albanian dude, Aldenai or something. He's some random African called Rolly that I've never heard of, that went the distance, that was boring. And I'm like, some poor person paid $24.99 to watch this dog shit. Now, even the fact that Wardy Packer was a good fight does not justify $24.99. Am I dead yet? Hey, Chuck being everyone. Yeah, what's up? What you saying, bro? Great to see you, bro. We're all right. We're all right. We're all good. We're all good. You can spend your money getting a good book that you can keep and earn knowledge from. Spend money wisely nowadays. I know it's nuts, right? Let's imagine, right? You're the average normie, right? And you're such a loser that you're obsessed by bread and circus. So you got Netflix. The cheapest Netflix is $5.99 with ads, but most people will pay more. Then you got Amazon Prime, $7.99. This is a month, by the way. This is a month. So let's say you're spending $7.99 Prime, $7.99 on Netflix. So that's 16 quid. Then you're paying £30 for Sky Sports to watch the football, right? Then you've got TNT Sports, which is probably another, excuse me, 20 quid. Don't smoke. 20 quid. And then other stuff. And what? You end up paying like £100 a month just to watch dog shit. But there's a reason behind this. Number one, they love you sitting there watching TV, watching their agenda, watching their adverts, and keeping you at home. And it closes down pubs because they hate pubs, because that's where people meet and talk and discuss ideas. Okay, they do that on the internet too, but I've met so many interesting people, red pill people in the pub, that we have sat there talking about the world, exchanging ideas. The people in charge have always hated pubs. Mossad, 10 pack sterling. Where did you get them? 1995. Do you know what the funny thing is, right? I'm actually a bit annoyed. See this, right? This is a cigarette, but it's covered in brown leaf, right? So the tobacco is cigarette tobacco, but it's covered in brown leaf. Now, legally, you can sell cigarillos as 10 packs, right? And how do you define cigarillos? Well, it's obviously defined something to do with being rolled in a brown leaf. So this is an actual cigarette that you can buy and smoke in a 10-pack, and they're only like $7.50. I only really smoke when I'm on the lives, and you know it's not a good idea. Although some people say actually most of the problems of cigarettes are by the chemicals in it. It's not a tobacco. Tobacco can actually combat, for example, the cure of yid. That's what they say. So that's what it is. Oh, and from what I heard, the Woody pack on the card was horrible. 24.99, utter rip-off. It was insult. It was awful. People I hadn't heard of. Boring fight. Bums. But it was saved by the Woody Parker fight. But that could have been boring. You don't expect it to be boring. That could have been boring. But that's still not worth $24.99. That's a 3 days on subscription fight. That's right. The sheep among the sheep. Hey, random fantasy matchup. Jersey Joe Walcott is Archie Moore of his heavyweight. Who would you have if it happened? Now, I actually meant to do a video on how difficult it is to compare eras. And you know, people say, oh, no. Oh, Muhammad Ali would definitely have beaten Tyson or something like that. I'm like, look, so much has changed in boxing. In supplements, PDs, weigh-ins, training methods, nutrition. You know, you can't compare eras. And, you know, you get guys like Joe Frazier, who was 205 pounds and fat. And what, you're telling me he's got a chance against Zhilei Zhang? No. However, Jersey Joe Walker and Archie Moore were a similar era at heavyweight. So the first thing I would say, I can't tell you who would have won if it ever happened. I can say who out of 10 fights, because, you know, let's say Ali Frazier. So they had 3 fights and they were all very different. One fight, Frazier won on points and dropped Ali. The second fight was a 10-rounder and it was close-ish. The third fight, Ali got pulled out by his corner in a fight that actually, if he carried on, he might have won. So you got 3 very different results. So you can't just say, oh, they would definitely win. And it depends how good your training camp is. It depends if you're on form. But I have to be honest, I always liked Jersey Joe Walker. You know, when I was young, I preferred him to Rocky because I thought Rocky was a bit dirty. But now I realize that Rocky Marciano had so much heart. He was unique, Rocky Marciano, unique in boxing. And he only started at 23, I think. Yeah. So Archie Moore vs Jersey Joe Walker. I'm going for Jersey Joe. Would win 7 times out of 10. That's what I'm going for because you watch Jersey Joe, his movement, the way he was super. Archie Moore was a bit sluggish as a heavyweight. Okay. Fuck you. Do you think the royal family were trolling when they demoted Prince Andrew's name to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor? His relative Lord Mountbatten was a bit noncy too. He wasn't a bit noncy. He wasn't a bit nonce. He was a super nonce. He got whacked by the Ra because he was going to Irish orphanages and taking kids away. And there are these are written witness statements saying that some of the kids disappeared from his boat. So he was a serious nonce. And he was Prince Charles's is mentor, as well as Jimmy Savile. Were they trolling? Probably, yeah. But, you know, they're laughing at us. The people in charge laugh at us. Walcott and Moore both fought Marciano in the same era, but just a couple of years apart from each other. Yeah, agreed. Which is why you can make that comparison. Which is why it's very easy to say. I just think that Jersey Joe had very good boxing skills. Yeah, Marciano had done him twice, but he was quite old as well. Marciano had done more, but Moore dropped him, I think. It would have been good fights. As I said, I think out of 10 fights, Just Joe would have won 7 times. That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah, boy, me. Muhammad Ali was fighting light heavyweights, 180 pounders. Yeah, I just looked, right. In fact, yesterday I looked at the people that Joe Frazier fought and what the average weight was. And he fought a couple of quite big guys, but on the whole, all his wins were against guys that weighed about 190 pounds, 200 pounds. You can't compare that to today. You see a giant Chinaman like Zhou Zhang come in the ring, and you think, I mean, they consider George Foreman to be a monster, right? Now, let me tell you how much George Foreman weighed. This is back in the 70s, right? Let me tell you, George Foreman, how much he weighed when he fought Frazier. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. George, I misspelt it. I put George Fireman. So George Foreman. Okay, this people say, oh, he's a monster. He's so big and powerful, and they used to regard him as such a monster. That's another lie as well. They go, oh, poor George Foreman grew up in abject poverty and never had any food. What? And that's how he grew to 16.5 stone. So the first fight, okay, between George Foreman. Where is this man? He had such a long career, Foreman. I mean, obviously he had 2 careers. So, but I got to go back. What's going on here? So, when he fought Muhammad Ali, George Foreman is considered a monster. He was 220 pounds. Guess what Muhammad Ali weighed? 216.5 pounds. There was a 3.5 pound weight difference. Yeah? So you imagine if these big modern heavyweights were there. Okay. Joe Frazier, the first fight, which is a big upset, if you remember. A massive upset. Frazier got KO'd on 2 rounds. Foreman, 217.5 pounds. Frazier, 214 pounds. Right? So 4.5 pounds difference. So almost nothing. In fact, not only that, in the rematch, they rematched and George Foreman knocked out Frazier, right? Guess how much Foreman weighed? 224 pounds. Guess how much Frazier weighed? 224.5 pounds. Frazier was heavier. You know, people just don't know their boxing, man. I think we will get Wood Warrington too soon. I'd watch that. Just good to have some names you recognize. Yeah, I'd watch it, but they're both over the hill. I never warmed to Warrington. I like Wood. I liked Lee Wood a lot until I realized he was a cuckold and he let people shag his own baby mother while he watched. So Walcott had skill. Yeah, there's a video of him and his footwork, and it's beautiful the way he moves. Beautiful. Jamie says, yo, what? Oh, hi, Jamie. You guys obviously friends. Hey, bro. Sean Warren lookalike. Oh, yeah, it's meant to be an Otto Wallin. It's an Otto Wallin lookalike. Hey, guys. It's Otto, Julian, automatic, all in, Wallin. But, yeah. I've been watching Nordic lately. I have actually, and he hasn't done a lot of boxing content. Having said that, there's not been a lot of boxing content. So, but he's Nordic's like me. He was here earlier, by the way. We look at red pill stuff. We look at current affairs. We look at other stuff, not just boxing. The royal family needs disbanding now, and they're moving towards it. But this is the problem. It's not because it's an outdated institution. It's not because the average person in the street thinks it's BS. It's because they've served their purpose to the higher powers. They don't now. The world is global, and the control is getting global. So you don't need a bunch of inbred, ugly, royal families running Britain, who they control, but now they don't need them, so they get rid of them. So yeah, the royal family, will it last beyond Prince Charles? They might get Prince William in, but they will certainly start to take away all their powers. Look, Prince Harry has his powers taken away. Prince Andrew Mountbatten, or whatever he's called, has had his powers taken away. Nordic's pumping out some interesting videos of it. Yeah, I need to have another look. Yeah. Maloney, the Irish dealt with him. Mountbatten, yeah, they took care of him, and well done. Good on them. You know, that nonce was taken care of, man. Jamie says he's gone on political, sacked off boxing. I mean, on the other hand, like I said, there's so little going on in boxing. It's not a surprise. I do miss the boxing content from Nordic. He's got a new job and stuff, so he's busy apparently. But he came on here earlier, so God bless him. Ultra Brexit Boxing is struggling for content. I've never watched that. Is it a good channel? Michael Maloney. Oh, Archie Moore. Yeah. Ali boxed Archie Moore. How old was Moore? About 60. He was definitely old. And because of his style, he had last ability, Archie Moore. And he was a very good fighter. You know, one of the best light heavyweights. But yeah, by the time he fought Ali, he was gone. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. Jamie says, did you hear they made tickets for Eubank Men 2? Free last night. They still don't want to get one, but my brother secured it. Whoa. I know. I looked like about a month ago because I made a video going, this ain't going to work, this show. It's in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is what, 60,000 people, right? In the freezing cold on November the 15th on a rematch, which isn't needed, right? For no titles. I said, and they've already spent that story. Oh, it's the dad's sons fighting. We've already done that story. So they're not going to be, I can't see how they can sell it. And I was looking at tickets, and there was tickets for like 25 quid. But now you're telling me they're free? I didn't know that. But I mean, I thought they were going to pull it. I think now it's probably too far gone and they won't pull it. It's too far gone unless like there's a injury, a suspect injury. And people years ago said Usyk would take out Canelo in 8, like Canelo is some big threat to the division. Usyk would destroy him in 1. Well, it's worse than that. They were saying after Usyk beat, who was it he beat? When he moved up to light heavyweight, before he fought Bivol and lost to Bivol, and they were saying, we think Canelo can move up to heavyweight and challenge Usyk. And I'm like, you guys tripping, man. You guys tripping. And as Owen says again, falling weight on 220 pounds in the Frazier bout. I told you the weights, right? He put on more weight when he came back. He did. He was considered a monster because he was massive for the time. But as I said, he wasn't that massive. In the second Frazier fight, Frazier outweighed him. Gage and Fury are much bigger. Yeah, in height, in weight, and the training techniques now are so much better. The nutrition, the supplements, the PEDs. So I don't really do the old, you know. And I said before in another live, I said everyone goes, oh, Sugar Ray Robinson was the best ever. Right. Okay. Have you ever watched him fight? Yeah, of course I have. No, what? You watched a couple of highlights of him knocking out Gene Foreman maybe with a left hook. Watch Ray Robinson. You see how better techniques are these days. You see how much more skillful they are. You know, certainly in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, people got a lot better, right? I see Sugar Ray Robinson and I look at him and I'm like, he doesn't look that good. Carl Froch would beat him, you know, but yet this is apparently the best ever. People repeat the same stupid story every time, man. And with that, people also exaggerate their life stories for books and movies. Yeah, underdogs rags to riches story sells better. It's like this BS. Woody's a white collar fighter. No, he wasn't, man. He had some unlicensed fights, including against ex-pros. You know, there's plenty of fighters that had no amateur experience who became world champion. You know, it's a boring narrative. Now, this is a good point. Owen goes, if Foreman had grown up now and boxed in the current age, he'd be bigger in the current world of PDs. Of course. And also, food is, you know, in the old days, poor people couldn't afford Well, firstly, they knew nothing about nutrition and protein and stuff, but they couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford to go and buy nice steaks and chicken breasts and protein shakes. You know, they just didn't know. They ate rubbish like potatoes all the time. Thank you, Peter Richards. Thank you. I bigged you up earlier. I said thank you so much for £25. God bless you. I hope you feel better, brother. Foreman bounced him around the second fight. I mean, he brutalized him. But as I said, bizarrely, Frazier was heavier. Only by ½ pound, but he's still heavier in the second fight. But Foreman could really punch. He could really punch. He could really punch. I can't stand Warrington. Yeah, there's something about him that bugs me, man. Fuck you. I would have thought some of the less heavyweights like Chisora would take advantage of the lack of overactivity to get another decent payday. People watch, there's nothing else. Well, he was meant to fight in December, wasn't he? December 13th, but it seems to be not happening now. Or was that at Talma? Both of them don't seem to be happening. Chisora has always been good value. He's mostly in decent fights, but he's a borderline journeyman, you know. And, you know, is he going to have one more fight? Well, that's up to him. But his brain is mush. Mush. My boy Benny Fitz is from Donegal. God bless you. I love my Irish fans. Owen. This is how I see boxing. We can enjoy and appreciate fights from the past and learn their history, but current boxers are superior due to them learning over the years. That's just right. For example, right, you look at sports which are easy to measure, like long jump, high jump, right, 100 meters. They've improved so much, right, and even stuff like football. You think the 1966 England World Cup team would have a chance, any kind of chance, against a modern international team? They get waxed by Macedonia, by Albania. Things have changed. Everything's changed. So why would boxing be different? Well, it's not different, man. Michael Maloney. Ray Robinson beats Ray Leonard. Who wins? Leonard. Just, I think Leonard's actually very overrated. You know, people forget. He had some great fights. Benitez, Tommy Hearns, or Roberto Duran too. Although Duran didn't even train for that fight. He was training on champagne. He didn't want to be there. They forced him into a rematch quicker than he was ready. So, you know, and he edged Hagler. He also got knocked out. Terry Norris knocked him down twice. Now, Terry Norris, good puncher, but Leonard wasn't that old, and he certainly wasn't shot worn. Hector Macho Camacho knocked out Sugar Ray Leonard in 5 rounds. So Leonard, to me, is very overrated. But, you know, he fit the picture. Olympic gold medalist, you know, he talked well. He was good looking if you're into that kind of shit. But, yeah, Ray Leonard's much better than Robinson, man. Potatoes are anabolic. Usain Bolt said sweet potatoes raise his test level. Well, it's probably the injections that raise his test levels, bro. I'm talking a lot tonight. So goes relax with Rocky and Ray Robinson. They grew up in their current age with current training, condition PDs. They'll probably be top guys now with their ability. Correct. But they didn't. So you can't make the direct comparison. Also, if Rocky Marciano grew up in modern times, he'd be bigger probably because he would have better nutrition, and then he'd put the PEDs, but he'd probably be a cruiserweight, a 200-pound cruiserweight, and he would destroy these guys. Could he get big enough to fight 290-pound Zhole Zhang, 255-pound Lennox Lewis? Come on, man. It's too much of a jump. So that's why I think just be the best in your era, and that's it. But, that's the best you can go. Marciano's trained 9 months for a fight. He was solid physically. He was unique and a physical freak. But, he was still 180-something pounds as a heavyweight. So. Owen Foster, Jack Dempsey would knock out Usyk in 20 seconds. And people just, oh, the people, I mean, they're not even worth fucking talking about. Oh, my boy Benny Fitz, low trouble. I'm from Clare. Oh, County Clare, but we're talking about the pedo man Banty. He was taking care. Oh, he's taking care of in Donegal. And well done, man. Well done to my Irish brothers for taking care of that disgusting, sickening nonce. Norris knocked Leonard down 4 or 5 times. Is it that much? I thought it was only twice, bro. I'm not sure. County Clare, the best county in Ireland, bro. Well, I mean to come to Ireland. I've got a lot of pals in Cork, which is apparently lovely. Where's County Clare? Which part of Ireland is that in? But I love the Irish people, man. You know, I know Cockney Irish, I know Irish, and they got warmth, they got nice chat, you know, and they're not bitter, you know. Like, you know, some Scottish people are so bitter about England, and like Irish people have got way more reason to be annoyed about the British government. And by the way, when I say England and Britain, I'm not talking about the normal person. The normal person, the normal working class person living in England was treated like shit as well. I'm talking about hatred of the governors, the government, excuse me, the politicians, the heads of the army. They're the people you need to get your hate on. Rambler, hey, night. Oh, I like the Wojak. I can't punch Gay J because that's racism, guys. Well, that's why. I mean, I think Otto would have stopped Gay J, but he knew it's wrong because of white supremacism for me to hit the Gay J. But he managed to knock out the white Chris Thomas yesterday. Well, I say white, he had a black arm. Even if you don't think Lennon beat Hagler, he showed his skills and intelligence for years against Hagler, who was still on top at middleweight. Yeah. Although some, you know, and the other thing about Hagler, now you know why he died, don't you? Tommy Hearns even said it. He was in great shape. He retired at 32. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. He had a lot of fights, but he retired and he was happy. But you know, the media presented him, oh, he's an intimidating thug and very surly. No, he's not. Go and watch the interviews with Hagler. He's funny, man. You know, the media are pathetic. I thought Leonard beat Hagler. I'll agree with you, Michael. I thought he beat Hagler by a round or two, but it was close. But I think Leonard won enough early rounds. But many people think Hagler won. David Nicholas, are you proud of Mozambique Heritage Blood? I don't really think about it. I mean, the whole world, are you proud? I mean, what does that mean anyway? Why would you be proud of... Firstly, pride is a dangerous thing. Pride is a sin, number one. And it's usually the people that come from complete shitholes that go, oh, I'm so proud of being X, Y, and Z. No, I'm not proud of anything where I'm from. I am what I am. My DNA is what it is. You know? But, you know, Mozambique, the average IQ is only about 65, so it's not great, is it? Cyber Boxing, good morning. Triple B, us convicts from down under. My Australian fans, great fans. What do you think, Cyborg, about... Have you seen... I don't know if you've got a Days On subscription, but Jael Pataya against Hussein Sinkara, who's from Egypt, is apparently now going on Stan TV. Now, I don't know what Stan TV is. So now they've taken that off Days On. So if you were hoping to watch Jael Pataya on Days On subscription, which they said was happening, now you can't. What do you think about that? They really stitched up Australian fans. Back in the day, we were all the US boxing and matches shown. We only had 6 channels. How far you gone back, bro? I remember there was less than that. I only got it from the Nazim times. They would show the big fights live on ITV, or sometimes they would show them on, you know, I think they would show them, you know, a week later or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And in those days, you know, you couldn't go on the internet and find out who won. You'd have to wait for the to find the result, which is usually 2 days later in the newspapers. But a lot of the big fights were shown on ITV, and some of them late. Some of the Tyson fights before Sky, right? Tyson fights, Sugar Ray Leonard, Donnie Lalonde, stuff like that. So the big fights they would show. Tommy Hearns vs Leonard, I think, was shown on normal TV. ST, we dropped points against Sunderland. I'm an Arsenal fan. Cheer me up, Chip. Okay. I mean, like I told you, I kind of left football because I didn't want to be too involved in bread and circus, right? But you know, because it's a way to get people obsessed by EastEnders, football, sport instead of politics, economics, and anyway. But my knowledge of football is not as good. I would say to you, I'm assuming Arsenal is still top. Oh, you still drew, right? So Arsenal, is it true? Arsenal went loads of games without even giving a goal away. But I like small teams. I like underdogs. So, but Arsenal is still number one, right, in the league, clearly. So Corey's at the ready. I know what you're talking about, bro. Renounce your white privilege. I love the Wojak. Renounce your white privilege. We're all the shame. We all bleed the shame. We're all tree swingers. Sky Sports showed a lot of US boxing. They did, but you had to pay for Sky then. And in those days, you had to have they'd come around and you had to sign up for a year and it'd attach like a. Then they used to have to attach a satellite dish, and wasn't there another one, BSB, the square reel? I can't remember. We didn't have them. I was like Rishi Sunak. We weren't well off to have Sky Sports. Job Time needs to stop boxing stiffs. It's not his fault, Michael, because, and there's two reasons, because there's only one fight at cruiserweight, Gilberto Ramirez, or if, say, Benavidez moved up, what's his name? David Benavidez, right? So there's no one for him to fight. Also, because Jai is, you know, old school. He's not releasing stupid, fruity videos on Instagram and talking. You remember that interview with that piece of shit, Gareth Davis? He looked at him with such disdain that it warmed my heart. He's a real guy. So basically, he's going to have to move up to heavyweight, you know. Unfortunately, I don't know, his manager, his promoters, they should be talking about a Gilberto Ramirez fight. But Ramirez, I think he's on the Oscar de la Homo. Well, you know, they'll be thinking, we're not going to risk him against Opetaya unless the payday is huge. And unfortunately, because Opetaya doesn't play that bullshit Twitter, Instagram game, they'll say he's too dangerous and there's not enough money in it. So he'll probably have to move up to heavyweight. So I don't blame Jai, to be honest. I can't blame Jai. He's a warrior. He's a fighter. Cyborg says, yeah, I got DAZN. Yes, Jai is on stand, right. I can watch about other means. Yeah, of course. Most casual boxing fans in Australia have barely heard of Opetaya, which is sad. Well, there you go, Michael Maloney. That's a bit of an answer. Even a guy as good, a pound-for-pound fighter as Jai Opetaya is not even big in Australia, his own country. Foxtel would rather push the pay-per-zoo narrative. Yeah, it makes me laugh, the pay-per-zoo. Like it makes me sick, right? How Australian fans are stitched up. Every time they have to watch a rugby player like Paul Galen or Sonny Bum Williams, or they have to watch a Nikita or Tim Tszyu, they got to pay $80 for it. They get stitched up. So Benny Fitz, some good peeps on it. Yeah, man. Flying to Shannon, spend a weekend in Bunratty. Okay, go to Dirty Nelly's. You will have a great weekend, man. I've been meaning to come to Thailand for 4 years, but I haven't done it yet. But I want to do a tour. I want to go to Korea. I want to go to Ireland. I'd like to go to Australia, but it's far, isn't it? It's far and it's expensive. And if you go to Australia, you got to spend at least 2 weeks there, right? ST, we're currently 7 points ahead of second place, but we're a dodgy team. We crumble under pressure when it matters. Are you talking about Arsenal? I mean, okay, like I said, I'm not a big football fan. I watch it because I bet on it, right? And I make money from it. But and I also know people. If you hang out at any pub, someone's going to be talking about football, right? So let's look. The Premier League. Let's look at the table. So Arsenal are 7 points in front, but Man City have 1 game in hand. Is that correct? Sunderland are number 3, though, with 19 points, same as Man City. So, you know, if you want me to talk about football, I'd say I wouldn't be too upset with that. It was away as well, you know, and it's early in the season, man. Yeah, Optai needs to move up to heavyweight, and it's a shame because what Optai should have done is cleaned up the cruiserweight division, cleaned out Ramirez, cleaned out anyone else. Who are the titleists in the cruiserweights apart from Optai and Ramirez? Let me have a look, man. I don't even know, and I'm a boxing fan. I mean, the cruiserweight's always been a weird division because everyone knows that the big money is in the heavyweights. And when it was, especially in the early days, people didn't take cruiserweight seriously, but it is a serious decision now. So the cruiserweight world titles. Okay, so you got Gilberto Ramirez, decent fighter, but Optai would smoke him. Badu Jack. So Ramirez got WBA and WBO. Optai is IBF and the ring champion. Badu Jack is WBC. And Miko Kielsia from Poland is interim. So Badu Jack is about 43 and get absolutely vaporized by Optai. So if he can't get the Ramirez fight and it doesn't look like De La Homo is going to risk him, yeah, he's going to have to move up to heavyweight. He knows that, man. On football, I'm not the biggest fan, but I love to see Hearts win the Scottish League. Someone other than Celtic and Rangers. It's been 40 years since another team won it. Wow. I mean, I knew it was dominated by Celtic and Rangers. I didn't know it was that long, man. Without further ado, the Gad, Gareth the Arsehole Davis. Didn't ask Jai if he shouted before the fight, did he? You know, didn't he? He's a creep. He's weird. He doesn't even know anything about boxing. He's a polo journalist for the Telegraph originally. You know, polo, the posh sport, where you go on horses and you got a long stick and you hit a ball. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think he'd ask Jai if he if he showered. Hagler beat Leonard by a couple of rounds. I think it was close. I've got no problem with that. I thought Leonard had shit. Hearns beat Leonard's second fight 100%, even though they gave a draw. Yeah, they gave it a draw. That's right. He dropped him twice. Leonard was looked after. Of course he was, because Leonard was the golden boy. All right. But if you look at Leonard, let's have a look now. What were Leonard's big wins? Okay. So he beat, obviously, Tommy Hearns, but he was behind on points in the first fight. Okay. He lost to Duran. He beat Duran in the second fight, but Duran hadn't had time to train properly. Who did he beat? Leonard. If you look at it, you're like, well, hang on a minute. Oh, he beat Floyd Mayweather's father. But seriously, Wilfred Benitez, decent win. So Benitez we've got so far. We've got Tommy Hitman Hearns. I'm not counting Duran's second fight. Hagler on a split decision. Donny Lalonde, he beat. Donny Lalonde was not the greatest fighter skillfully, but he had a huge punch. But he made Donny Lalonde starve himself from 175 to 168. He got battered by Terry Norris, Hector Camacho. So if you look at that, and Roberto Duran, if you look at that, you're like, well, hang on a minute. That's not actually that great a resume. And he retired for ages. That's not a great resume. So, oh, yeah, that was a robbery. Cyborg. Yeah, come down on the free room, my place, no homo. Oh, I'd love to. You need 2 years in Australia, bro. Hang out. Yeah, I don't know what the situation is with what's it called visas. I once had a visa to come to Australia, a tourist visa for a year, which is pretty good. But didn't Big John Fisher, the disgusting pink sausage legs gluttonous pig, did he get thrown out of Australia? You remember he came to Australia to give some talks about food, obviously, because what else is a fat piece of shit like that going to talk about except food? Okay, and they pushed him out, which I thought was very funny. I'm just going to get a bit more drink and drain the lizard. While I'm away, I'll keep on talking, but remember, you can, in the description, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Super Shekel, Super Sticker, buy me a beer, okay? I'll be back in 1 minute. Think of some good questions, man. Yes, Cyborg. I'd love to come to Australia. I just haven't left, weirdly enough, I haven't left the UK for a bit. Because I've had no reason to. And I'm a bit poor. But yeah, I'd love to come to Australia. I'd love to come to Australia. I mean, things about Australia, it's massive, isn't it? It's massive, although most of the places are on the coast, right? Jarrod, if you come to Australia, bro, learn Chinese before you come. Hamne Mahothinga, do you know what that means? I don't know when it's Cantonese or Mandarin. Hamne Mahothinga means blowjob, very tasty, very tasty. You know, I can talk about Yao Ming and Gilles Jean. Kelvinator, hello. I didn't notice you was throwing left hooks already. What's up, man? Yeah, sorry, bro. I didn't get much notice. Hearns was ripped off in the second fight. And it's disgusting as well. It's like, this is boxing, so we're used to people getting robbed all the time. But especially something like that, because Tommy the Hitman Hearns was one of my favorite fighters. You know, they got the what do you call it, the Magic Four: Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, and Roberto Duran. So when I was younger, I preferred Leonard for some reason. I think I was just pulled in by the fact that he was a golden boy. But now, and I was a bit anti-Duran because to me he seemed a bit vicious and dirty. But now it's completely changed. I love Duran. If you watch Duran, there's a great video, by the way, Nigel Benn, who's one of my favorite fighters, sparring Duran, and a Duran who's like a fat lightweight, and the little moves that Duran puts are amazing. Duran was an amazing fighter. Hearns ironing out Duran is one of the biggest shocks. Tommy the Hitman Hearns was violent, vicious. He wanted the KO. He messed up against Hagler. He decided to trade Hagler, which was just a bad idea. Marvelous Marvin, RIP. You know, now the least favorite of them four fighters to me is Leonard. And he used to be my favorite. So it's weird, isn't it, man? Triple B, have you ever made any money betting on the line? Like I said, I've got a number of techniques that I use to make money from betting. Now, obviously, in boxing, I know my boxing. So I won on Fabio Wardley. I won on Makhmudov, for example, and loads of other fights. I've given guys 14 to 1 betting odds and stuff that won. But if they offered a boosted odd above 35% margin on the line that says, yeah, I pay for it, but I wouldn't watch their stupid rubbish fighters. Buddy Jack's over 40. He's 42, man. And he's been knocked out in a round. I can't remember who, but someone, man. Benny Fitz, West Coast Chubby. Okay. You need to get out of Dublin if you come. Yeah, I've been told that by a lot of Irish people. They said, just don't bother with Dublin. Real Ireland. You can fly direct to Shannon from London. You'll love it. Your shit will go down well. Oh, thanks, bro. That's lovely, Benny. Thanks, man. I'm assuming Fitz isn't your real name because then you're German. But I need to organize myself better. I'm very badly organized. I need to do an Ireland tour, a South Korea tour, and an Australia tour. Obviously, money is an issue, but you know, if you organize yourself properly, then it's no problem, man. Am I dead yet? Yes. 1985, Aberdeen won it on Alex Ferguson. That was the last time a non-Celtic or non-Rangers team won. That's nuts, man. Who's the biggest mudge? Yeah, man. Rambler. Who's the biggest mud shark in women's boxing? Michaela Meyer. Yeah, she did some mud sharking for sure. Emily Bitches. Although Kilbrook is mixed, isn't he? So, but yeah, one of them two. Leonard was a diva. He was treated very well because he was such an easy sell. You know, he was good looking if you're into that. You know, he was well spoken. He was quite educated. So he's a very easy sell. So they're obviously going to push him, man. Michael's right though. He retired 5 times in Milton boxing. Yeah, he did. But on the other hand, I don't have a problem with people. I don't have a problem with boxers. That's not promoters. That's not managers. That's not trainers. But with actual pro boxers milking as much money as they can out of boxing, because it's a dangerous game. The average pro boxer has a life expectancy of 11 years less than the general population. And half of them end up punching, man. So you have to respect them. So I don't have a problem with that milking what he could out of boxing. But it doesn't mean that it warms me to him, yeah? Peter Richards, Hearns, Hagler, Duran, nobody else. Yeah, I mean, you know, that was a golden era, people will say. They will say it was a golden era. Wilfred Benitez as well. He was a bit earlier. And has he passed away? He went pro at 17. Or he won his first world title at 17 or something crazy like that. And I think... Wait, I need to check. Is he still alive? But I know he suffers from dementia, which is a shame. That's the thing. Boxing is so dangerous, man. You know. Okay, so that's a picture of Wilfred Benitez. So, you know, unfortunately, the poor guy is not in a good state. I still don't know if he's alive or not. Hang on, give me a second. Yeah, he's still alive. He is still alive, but he's in a very poor state. So, but Benitez was he was a bit earlier. That's right, Owen. He was looked after. Cyborg, Johnny Fisher wasn't allowed in Australia because Australians were concerned about our Chinese restaurants. Food. I mean, there's a lot of Chinese guys in Australia now, isn't there? Right? Melbourne is as expensive as hell. Is that where you're from, Cyborg? I agree. Hearns. I thought Hearns beat Leonard second time. No problem. He did hurt Hearns in the battle as well. Yes, but he got dropped, didn't he? At least once, maybe twice. The first boxing match I ever saw was Hagler Hearns. Do you know what the funny thing is, right? You know that piece of shit, that liar, that big-nosed, small-hatted liar, the worst commentator in the world. You know what I'm talking about. And there's the respect. He says that the first fight he ever saw was Hagler Hearns, okay? In one of his books. And he said, oh, I stayed up. He would have been like 13 at the time. Oh, I stayed up and I cried. when Hearns lost. And I checked out, and I don't even think it was shown live in the UK. Not only that, but there's another article when Adam Smith says the first fight he saw that got him into boxing was Bo Holyfield. So he's a lying piece of shit. Big Dog said, how long is your core? Well, it used to be 8 inches, but I don't know. I haven't looked recently. Do you think Leonard Levis stuck his core in Savannah when she was a Mayweather promoter? I think she's a rug muncher. Gerard, Opata unfortunately doesn't play the game. That's why the Zoos get the mention. Yeah, but that's why I respect him even more, because he is an old school fighter. And even in interviews, he's like, I'm bored of this. I don't want. He said in interviews, he's not bored of this. I don't want to sit here speaking. I just want to get in the ring and beat the man up. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. Roberto Duran's performance against Aaron Barkley was impressive. Yeah, that was. Duran, was basically a fat lightweight. He dropped Aaron Barkley. He won on points. It was close, but he definitely won that fight. Barkley was enormous compared to him. Enormous, man. Enormous. Cyborg, yeah. Opata, Lime, Paro won a title in Puerto Rico. Yeah, he's lost it now. And Sam Goodman are right above the Zoos. I don't think Tim has done badly, but as I said, I did previews, and I hope people got on it. I said Zoo's going to lose to Fundora, and he's going to lose to, who's that Russian or Kazakh guy, Matazaliev or something. I might have the wrong name, but I said he will lose this. And the Kazakh was like, or Uzbek was like 4-1. I was like, this is crazy. Yeah. But they're a big story. Story dominates the narrative in sport. Oh, I've got to say thank you very much to my boy Peter Richards. Peter Richards to another £10. Oh, thank you, brother. You gave me £25. That's so generous. I appreciate it. I hope you're feeling better, man. God bless you. God bless your family. Who wins the fight tonight? Hearns battered Dennis Andrews. Yeah, that I remember. I didn't see that, but I remember that fight. Hearns might be the second best of the 4 behind Hagler. It's so hard to tell because Roberto Duran moved up from lightweight. Yeah, Tommy Hearns moved up from welter. Leonard moved up from welter. Hagler was always a lifetime middleweight, so it's quite hard to tell. Tommy Hearns, didn't Tommy Hearns win a cruiserweight title? It might have been the IBO or something, but he went up to cruiserweight, Tommy the Hitman Hearns. But Tommy was a 6'2.5" with giant wide shoulders, but he was very skinny legged, wasn't he? Yeah. Tommy the Hitman. Thank you very much for the tenner, Peter, man. Much appreciated, brother. Oh yeah, Benny is world champion at 17. Yeah, that's just insane. I mean, yeah. Benny Fitzpatrick and Fitzgerald. All right, it's shortening. I will leave that for guessing on. Yeah, man, you don't need to tell me your full name, man. If you come over here, we'll show you around, brother. I'd love to, man. And I need to. If I come to Ireland, though, I'll come and see you, but I've got to go to Cork as well because I've got some friends. Did I tell you? I've said it before. Big Joe Joyce. I don't mean the jugger Chad, the jugger bum. I mean the bare knuckle fighter. One of me pals is friends with the Joyce family, and he gave me a birthday message, live birthday message, and he sung me some Irish songs, and I spoke to his family. So Ireland's very close to my heart, man. Very close to my heart. Duran vs Hearns was shown live in Australia. Yeah, might have been. But I was talking about Hagler Hearns. It was whether, Peter Richards says, you're right, on the radio it was Hagler Hearns. I looked, I didn't do extensive research, but Adam Smith claiming he was crying, age 12 or whatever, when Hearns got beaten by Hagler, which he watched live. I was like, I think you're lying. And he's got a big nose, like Pinocchio. So obviously he's a liar. Duran vs Barkley is an example of good big man vs great little man. But I really like Aaron Barkley because I met Aaron, by the way. I met Aaron Barkley when I was in the United States. It's slightly sad because he didn't have his hand out. But you know, if you took a picture, he wanted $10 because, and he beat Tommy Hearns. You know, who was Iron Barkley beat? He had loads of good fights, Iron Barkley, and apparently he was from a tough gang, the Black Spades, right? But the problem was this: he was very generous with his money, so he'd give all his money to his friends, his family, his homeboys. Right, Iron Barkley. I'm actually shocked by this. Looking at this now, he had 43 wins and 19 losses. I didn't. That must be at the end of his career, but wow. But you know, he beat James the Heat Kinchin. I don't know if you remember him. Michael Olajide, the flashy guy, the Canadian guy with jerry curls. Tommy the Hitman Hearns. Nigel Benn done him in a round, though. He beat Darren Van Horn. Darren Van Horn was two-world world champion. He knocked him out. He beat Tommy Hearns in a rematch. So, you know, he also got beaten by Henry Maskey, Tosca Patridis, the Australian guy, who had only one fight at the time. It's amazing the stuff you find out. But Jerry Hoetzi, he stopped Jerry Hoetzi. Jerry Hoetzia, I don't know how to pronounce it. If there's any Boers here, Jerry Hoetzia. He stopped him in 1997. But he lost his last 6 fights. But, you know, Iron Barkley was a warrior, and unfortunately he was taken advantage of. And it's weird because he was meant to be a bad boy gangster, yet he was generous, kind. Oh yeah, James Toney gave Barkley an awful hand. Yeah, I remember that fight, and I was really backing Iron Barkley, and Iron Barkley was so psyched for the fight. And at that time, James Toney was well considered, but he wasn't. They didn't realize how good he was. And you remember James Toney was losing to Michael Second to None, my favorite nickname of all time, Michael Second to None. And then he just starched him with a shot. But I don't really like Tony that much. Even though I love his boxing skills, he's a bit ignorant when you talk to him. You know? Yeah. Duran was well prepared for the fight. He was age 37, I think. It was something like that. He was expected, Barkley, to knock out Duran. But Duran, if Duran's mind was in the fight, and this is the thing about the no mass fight, he hadn't trained properly. He didn't have enough time. He'd been drinking. And he was like, oh, F you, sugar. I can't be bothered with your BS. He didn't quit like a coward. He was just, oh, fuck you, man. You know? And he lost because he didn't have time to train. Duran is one of them guys that when his mind is on the game and when he's sorted, he was an exceptional fighter. Not only that, do you know something people don't know a lot about Duran? People think he's Panamanian. Well, he is. He was born in Panama and he considered himself Panamanian. But you know what his dad was from? Where's his dad? His dad is American. His mother is Panamanian, but his dad is American. But she's not. But his dad was not. I read this funny article when he goes, he didn't know his dad growing up, right? And he said when he saw a picture of his dad, he knew he was American, so he thought he looked like Robert Redford or Paul Newman, but he was Mexican American. So weirdly enough, Duran is actually half Panamanian, half Mexican American. Not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people know that. Yeah, Ben battering Barkley. I wonder how Barkley's brain is. I mean, this was years ago when I met him. It didn't seem great, but he had a lot of hard fights. What do you expect, man? Oh, I didn't notice, Owen. Barkley had a stroke months ago. Apparently due to stress. He's getting better now, though, apparently. God bless him, because he's a good guy. I remember I had a nice chat with him. I dropped him some money. But it was, you know, it was sad in a way. That a guy who'd had so many good fights and earned so many millions was completely broke. Completely broke. Why? Because of generosity. Generosity. Yeah, that's right, Maloney. He boxed at heavyweight. Yay, Heli Hodzia, for example. Cyborg, Haggling of his Hearns wasn't shown live in Australia. I was 9 years old. I remember watching replay. The first fight I saw, as I recall. I'm trying to think, what's the first fight I ever saw, man? I think I was really young, and I seen Barry McGuigan fight. I can't remember which one. Rambler, Triple B. Would you be surrogate of Huey and Savannah's love child? Well, they're trying to mate. Obviously, they're trying to mate. Peter wanted Huey to mate with Savannah to make the ultimate heavyweight fighter, but I don't know whether Huey can get wood or Savannah. Well, she's turned to rug munching. She's got some blonde girlfriends, so. Michael, he's a 3-weight world champion. Well, he definitely won the middleweight title. He definitely won the super middleweight title. I think he won a light heavyweight title, and he won, I don't know, like the WBF heavy or something. I don't know. Oh, without further ado, thank you. Not as flushed tonight, but any chance we can get the dance? It's been a while. Oh, what you mean I know what you're talking about, man. You're talking about the shekel. Havana Gila, Havana Gila, ha ha ha, Havana Gila, Havana Gila, ha ha ha, Havana Gila, Havana Gila, ha. I hope that's worth the £5. Thank you, brother. It's very kind of you, man. I really appreciate it. You know that, man. I'm always talking to you. God bless you, brother. Boxing Classic. Have you used Polymarket, Chubby? No, I don't even know what it is. You can bet on any world event. It uses crypto. I think you use VPN. Where are they based? I've looked at betting crypto on sports, but the problem with crypto is it's so volatile. You know, £1, $1, whatever you want, its value does not change that much over a year. Whereas crypto, in 1 month, you know, it can double in price. So if you're going to bet crypto, you've got to bear that in mind. So if crypto's low and you're going for a longer term bet, then bet it. Or if you're just going for an overnight bet, yeah. But no, I haven't done crypto. But as Cyborg says, boxing is about timing. It is about timing. And that's why I get annoyed when people go, oh, who would win, X or Y? Who would win? I said, there's so many factors, man. There's so many factors. Roberto Duran lost 3 times to Leonard. Sorry, twice to Leonard. He won the first fight. The second one, he said, no mas. And then it made him out to be a coward. He wasn't a coward. He was just annoyed. He hadn't trained properly. And if you watch the fight, after he goes, no mas, you know, he basically said, F you, Leonard, F you, Leonard. He didn't like Leonard. I remember he said to Leonard's wife, he goes, yeah, I'll take care of you. But if you watch the Leonard Duran 2 fight, Duran is like, after about like 30 seconds, he's like, what? And he starts to shape up again. He wants to fight again. Duran was a man. No one can say that Duran was a coward. It's pathetic to say he's a quitter and a coward. But they had a third fight, didn't they? And Duran lost on points, clearly. I think it was super middleweight. Oh, and Tony says Usyk is boring. What? Saying he needs to fight somebody. Also, he thinks that Usyk's British. Tony, that's why I don't like Tony. He's an idiot. He's clearly a racialist, which I don't care about. Like I said, again and again and again, everyone's got the right to think what they want about different races, about different cultures, about different nationalities. Everyone has the right to think what they want. It doesn't bother me one bit. So when Hopkins goes, I would never lose to a white boy. Well, he was wrong about that. Kazagi slapped him up. Kovalev slapped him up. And then Joe Smith knocked him out of the ring. So he was wrong. But I'm like, yeah, he's allowed to say that. I don't give a shit. But Soapy Bernard was a rapist in prison. And he got 10 years. Now, you don't get 10 years in prison without doing something very violent. He did it. And they've hit it. They've hit it a bit. He did a very, very violent robbery. But so Tony, so that's the thing with Tony, right? He you know, he's a hater. So how can you say Usyk is boring, man? How can you say? How can you be a boxing fan and watch Usyk's skills and say he's boring? And as for saying he's British, well, he's punch drunk, man. Kill the bill for me, fans. Great to see you here, bro. Great to see you, my brother. I haven't seen you for a bit. Cyborg. Duran's dad was in the US Army, I believe. Exactly, yeah, he was. But he was Mexican, American. Now, in those days, there weren't that many Mexican Americans. It's not like now when there's loads of Latinos and Mexicans in America. But, yeah, so Duran was like, it was quite weird. I don't think he really met his dad. And when he saw a picture of him, he was like, what? I thought he's going to look like Paul Newman. Oh, Michael Moore's broke now too. What, another one? The problem is, right, so you get these boxers who are economically, unfortunately, a bit ignorant, okay? So, because they're not trained, they come from rough backgrounds, you know? And they don't want to pay. They should. What they need to do is get a great accountant, but they don't trust them. And they're like, F them, and they'll blow their money on parties, drugs, jewelry, huge houses they can't afford, and they'll have baby mothers, and then they got to pay child support, and they end up broke. So on the one hand, it's sad. On the other hand, it's a bit like, well, maybe you shouldn't act like such a degenerate hood rat, man. I mean, even Mike Tyson was made bankrupt, if you can believe that. He's made something like $500 million in his career. Rambler, Otto, good. I'm glad you've got back to Otto. Why is Otto picking on Edwards' next of kin in the Wallington ghettos? Otto's a bum, and that's all there's. That's all I got to say. Last I heard, Hugh Hughes trying to conceive a child with Clarissa Shields, but that proved problematic. Well, I mean, could you get wood for Clarissa Shields? Even Sonny Edwards. You remember when Sonny Edwards tried to crack onto Clarissa Shields? He was like, if I beat Rodriguez, can we go on a date? But funnily enough, Sonny, who's an oil driller, has got, to my knowledge, as long as they're still together, a really quite pretty Brazilian girlfriend. So, and Brazilian come in all colors, right? You get blondes like Gisele Bündchen, and then you get Anderson Silva. But, you know, his one is Latina. And she's really nice. I mean, I'm not hating on Sonny. That's right. Savannah left bed with Savannah spread the April showers. That's the name of her girlfriend, is it? Yeah. You need subtitles to understand James Tony interview. Not knocking me. White boy. Yeah, he's an idiot, man. I never warmed to his personality. He used to wear the Star of David on his trunks for Jackie Kalen. They made a film about this, right? Now, obviously, it's a Hollywood film, so you obviously know it's full of BS. But they made a film, didn't they, about Jackie Kalen, who was a female manager of James Toney, and he used to wear the Star of David, or the Star of Remphan, if you want, and on his trunks. And apparently, he went over to her house with a gun. He wanted to kill her, but nothing happened. So, benefits. She's got your Cash App link. Alicia's direct you, bro. You got a good memory. I used to get quite a lot of money from Cash App. Also, I used to have a link, because if you went to Cash App and made a payment, I'd get an extra $5 for the link, and you'd get an extra $5 for signing up. But no, Cash App in the UK, right, is being banned. There's a huge group court case against Cash App, so you can't use it in the UK anymore. Is it still active in the US? I'm not sure, but they had a big data leak, and there's a big court action against them. So I don't think it exists, bro. Unfortunately, the best value for money link for money is Buy Me a Coffee or Buy Me a Beer. They take like 8% or something like that, whereas YouTube take 30% of donations and 90% of ad revenue. Imagine how much money I made these pieces of shit. Duran vs Whitaker lightweight would be an interesting fight. Again, it's one of those fights that would have gone a number of different ways, depending on what mood Duran was in. Whitaker, R.I.P. by the way. Unfortunately, he died. He was killed. Was it a car crash or he was shot? I mean, Whitaker was a very classy fighter, but he's a guy who won on points. He was not exciting, man. Rambler back here. I think I saw Sonny when he was younger, walking to the boxing gym in the round shore ghettos. You know, Sonny Edwards, I've had him on the channel, right? A couple of times. And he gave me 80 quid once, plus 99p once, because he thought he had me. But I totally had him by the balls. And I told him, listen, man, if I were you, I'd rein it in, because I can release a phone call. I can release a phone call that I have recorded, which is clearly your voice, of you slagging off depressed people, suicidal people, Battimans, which I don't care about, and he chips up. But Sonny has a good side. Sonny has a good side, but I think Bam convinced him the boxing wasn't for him anymore. But he manages, right? He's a manager, so. Oh, and Tony's amusing. He can be amusing, yeah. But he's way off about Usyk, yeah. Hopkins lost to them 3 white boys. Smith knocking him out the ropes was kind of satisfying. Not kind of satisfying. It was super satisfying. I laughed. I watched that a few times. And the other thing was afterwards, Bernard Hopkins goes, why did you stop the fight? I was fine. I was completely fine. I'm like, wait. You know when you get knocked out of the ring? When you get knocked down in the ring, you get 10 seconds to get off your ass. If you get knocked out of the ring, you get 20 seconds. Hopkins could not make it back in the ring in those 20 seconds. And yet he was still claiming he was fine. What an idiot, man. So I can't stand soapy Bernard Hopkins. Why is he called soapy? Because apparently he used to grape and people in prison and soap himself up. So he's dirty as hell. His sporting tactics. Yeah, and then whine like a bitch when he didn't get the decision. Yeah. He was a boring fighter. He was a dirty fighter. I can't stand him. Now, this is interesting. Oh, and James Toney, amazing defense, etc. Punch drunk in his 50s. Jake LaMotta, the caveman brawler, lived to 95. Jake LaMotta was just a freak. He had a massive heat, and he could take a punch and took endless punches. So he, oh, you know what? The so-called the heist. Let me just, I can't put the volume on. Let me just put it on my TV, see what's the heist, the prize fighter tournament or whatever should be on now. Not that I'm interested, but I'll put it in the background and I'll update you if anything interesting happens. But yeah. Also some fighters just get really punchy, you know. I would say, unfortunately, the Quarry family, Jerry and Mike Quarry, both became demented at a very young age. They fought on too long. They're very tough guys, you know. And then you'll get a guy like Jake LaMotta, who will live to 95. Well, Max Schmeling lived to 99. I mean, he wasn't, you know, Max Schmeling had tough fights. In those days, in the Max Schmeling days, right, you would box with horsehair gloves that weighed like 6 ounces. So I don't know. It depends. I mean, look at Riddick Bowe, how punchy he is. Riddick Bowe had like what, 1 loss? Yeah, he had tough fighters, but he had 1 loss, and he's punchy as anything, man. Am I dead yet? A lot of Americans jealous of Usyk. Yeah, they don't like the number 1 heavyweight isn't American, and more than that, I'm sorry to say, isn't Black American, because for years. You see, this is the thing. For years, the top heavyweights were from the United States. And then, hang on a minute. And then things changed, right? So in the early days, a lot of the top heavyweights were white Americans. But then things changed. Boxing is an inner city sport. You have to, it's not a sport for everyone. It's not like football. Everyone plays football. Have you ever met anyone who's never played football? You know, no. If you live in a, you know, I'm not talking about American football. I'm talking about soccer, right? So in the 50s and 60s, the inner cities started to be populated mainly by Black Americans, and that's where all the boxing gyms were. So suddenly you got a switch. You got loads of Black American fighters doing really well, and the Americans hated the fact that they thought boxing was theirs. You remember Floyd Patterson? Obviously he's black, and when he lost to Ingemar Johansson, the Swedish guy, the only Swedish fighter of any value apart from Otto All-In, All-Jullin, Automatic Wallin. The only Ingemar Johansson knocked out Floyd Patterson, and Patterson was quoted as saying, "Not only was I disgusted that I lost, but I lost to a foreigner." Now I don't care. Floyd Patterson's a nice guy, but you know, to imagine saying that these days, if you if Usyk said that, but and also you got to remember all the old Eastern Bloc countries, not just Eastern Bloc, China, Cuba, they never went pro. These boxers didn't fight, and then suddenly they turned over after the fall of the Iron Curtain, and then suddenly you've got all these Ukrainian, Russian, Uzbek, Kazakh fighters that are killing it. Yeah, I mean, all that. And you say that stupid thing, oh, you've got to come to America to prove it. If you can't win in America, you're not a real champion. Why would American fighters have to have home advantage every time? You know, Roy Jones, he might have done once, but to my memory, he did not fight out of America. Probably to do the drug testing as well, but, you know. Boxing Classic, would you rather watch a Hopkins fight or Casserole fight? It depends against who, but Casserole, because Casserole is not an interesting fighter, but he is a skillful one. Hopkins is very dirty, and he makes excuses all the time. Maloney, Mora's got a huge tax bill. Yeah, American boxers pay their managers training taxes. Strange but true. I mean, it's nuts. Like, let's say with Nazim Hamed, right? People had to go at him. Oh, he treated Brendan Ingle terribly. Hang on a minute. Brendan Ingle was his trainer, and he paid him 25%. It's meant to be 10% maximum, and now it's different. Sometimes they have a salary. 25% plus 10% to Dominic Ingle as the manager. So already before taxes, he's paying out 35% of his money. And at the time, he'd come to train and go, "Come on, Brendan, let's train." And Brendan would go, "Oh, no, yeah, you got to train with everyone else." So Nazim Hamed, let's say he was earning £10 million for a fight. He's got to pay Brendan Ingle £2.5 million, and Brendan Ingle can't even be bothered to give him one-on-one training. Duran, Chavez, Pacquiao, so-called brawlers. Yeah, they speak well for their age. Muhammad Ali, defensive genius, riddled with Parkinson's. I mean, it differs from person to person. Sonny going to crush shows like Napoleon Dynamite's brother, with that big black woman. What is that? I can't remember that. I thought that was. I thought that movie was called. It's a different movie, right? And there's that really skinny guy, and they go to a black frat house, and he ends up. What is it called? That movie? It's whack anyway. Primal. There's something a bit skanky about Latinos. I mean, Latinos is a very broad spectrum of people, so I don't know, man. Something they do say is that Latinos get fat when you get old. Cyborg. Tony should have lost to Dave Tiberi. Exactly. Dave Tiberi got robbed against Tony and he retired. But he 100% beat Tony. That's the other thing, Owen. Yeah, Marciano didn't get his off as people thought. No, he actually, and you read the people that fight him and say, actually, he was unpredictable. He was quite hard to hit. He was come forward and he was a banger. But like you said, he would ride the shots like Lamotta. Because they weren't flashy, people think they didn't have good defense. But Marciano's defense, he would duck, he would put his hands up, he'd block shots. Yeah, absolutely, man. Heard yesterday that YT takes 30% of donations. Well, not just me, everyone. And they took 90% of ad revenue. It's disgusting. If they took 10%, I'm like, cool, you're fine. You're providing a service. I'm providing the content, and the funds are giving money because they want to give it to the Triple B, who's Paul. They don't want to pay YT 30%. Unfortunately, yeah, which is why I used to use Cash App a lot, because Cash App wouldn't charge you anything, but unfortunately, they're wrecked. Buy Me a Coffee is probably the best one, but you got to sign up, you got to do that. And I'm grateful for all my donations, you know, and I just got to take that on the chin. Right, I'm going to go down. Without further ado, another £2. Thank you, brother. Big up Tommy Guns each and every time. Is Tommy Guns in the house? Tommy Guns in the house. I'm looking. Webs 89, my Irish brother. Has Sonny been seen since he jacked in the corner? Well, Edwards, yeah, they take him on Day Zone, and he has got a, what's it called, an identity out there. He trains some fighters. I'm trying to think who, Lucas Rohrig or something. Cyborg, they're trying to push women's boxing in Australia to their pay-per-views whilst ignoring open time. Yeah, I'm absolutely disgusted by that. I'll answer this. Owen, Chubby. I mean, if long as others, what happened to the guy, Emperor Michael? I thought you had friends. I gave him chances. I put him on the live, and Sonny was on the live, and then he started to get upset because Sonny goes, well, come down and spar me, Michael. And Michael had a fight lined up that was cancelled 4 days later. So he was in great shape. And I said, come on, Emperor, you've got to, you know, he used to have a good channel. I said, you got to go and spar Sonny. And he goes, you spar Sonny. Why should I spar Sonny? And he went off the live. And I was like, what the hell? He turned against me. And Sonny was laughing his ass off. And I thought, Michael, you weigh 40 to 50 pounds more than Sonny, and you haven't got the balls to spar him, even though you're fit for a fight. So, right, I'm going to move down a bit. Peter Edwards, yes, my brother. Thank you for the cash money. Thank you so much. God bless you and your family. Dave Benavidez, great fighter. I watched a lot of his early fights. He looks like he enjoys violence. I can see why Canelo didn't want to smoke. Yards going in 9. Yeah, I have to say, I underestimated Benavidez. I really underestimated Benavidez because I thought David Morrell would beat him. I think Morrell's a good fighter, and I did think Morrell didn't put his foot on the gas, but I underestimated Benavidez just because he looks a bit chubby. I underestimated his work rate and skills. He throws a lot of punches. Going back to without further ado, where's Tommy Guns? Where are you, Tommy Guns? We miss you, Tommy Guns. Cyborg. Okay, yes, true, Michael. I assume you're answering Michael Maloney. Harding. I assume you mean Jeff the Hitman Harding, one of my favorite boxers, let alone Aussie. He hit the booze hard for a while. His skull is made of concrete. Oh, he had a tremendous chin. And he had some good wins, some tremendous wins. What happened? Is he? How do people talk about him in Australia now? Because he kind of a legend. You remember, like back in the day, the Australian fighters, Jeff Fennick, Jeff Harding, if you Troy Waters, even you'd be like, Australian guys are tough as shit. All right, I'm gonna move down. I'm so sorry if I'm missing comments, but I can't get everyone. Box. Emperor Michael said he won an Olympic gold medal for Eritrea. Well, I said to him, I actually advised him. I said, go. I said, listen, Eritrea, right, hasn't got much of a boxing program. The African to qualify through Africa is not that difficult. Why are you not boxing in amateur tournaments for Eritrea? He's an idiot. Anyway. I have no idea what's happened to that fool. Yeah, how about that? Yeah. Shark eyes. Yeah, hammerhead shark eyes. Sky Nixon is better than Opataya because women are much better than the men. Yeah. Okay, so we got a fight. I'm not really watching it. Jermaine Brown v something Osborne, and it's the prize fighter thing. I can't be bothered to watch, you know. Jared, when you start the BKFC channel, you can make it a better channel. Do you know, I meant to do it about 3 months ago. Not just BKFC. There are two main bare knuckle fighting organizations: BKB, which is what I think the one Mananaji fought on, and BKFC, which is the one that Conor McGregor has a part in. BKFC is 5 2-minute rounds for championships, and it's in a round ring. BKB is in a triangular ring, and it's 5-3. Yeah, I meant to start a channel because it's super exciting. I don't think your career can last long in bare knuckle though, because the damage to your hands, the damage to your face. I mean, every single bare knuckle fight you see that goes more than a round, guys are cut everywhere, you know. I don't think you can last long in bare knuckle, which is probably one of the reasons why, you know, it's full of, I don't mean this in a bad way, but full of has-beens and tough guys and never was's, like ex-MMA fighters, ex-pros, who've done very badly, by the way, and street fighters, because you can't last long in bare knuckle, surely. Cyborg, have you read the story about the Waters brothers and their vile father? No, I haven't. Have a read about it if you haven't. Was he a bully? Was he a nonce? I read about other tough Australian fighters. Paul Briggs, I read his autobiography, which was very disturbing. Danny Green, although Danny Green threw a fight, didn't he? But yeah, Aussie fighters have always been known to be tough. And Mike Perry wants to go back to UFC. Really? I think there might. I don't. Well, no, I don't. The question is, he went as far as he could in UFC. He's not even that good a fighter, but he's very good at bare knuckle because he's tough as anything. He was tough as anything, and he was badly bullied when he was young. Because where he was from, somewhere near Detroit, he was like, there was hardly any white guys in his school, so he'd get bullied all the time. And he's a very tough guy. I think his biggest wage packet for bare knuckle was $500,000, which is pretty good. I mean, some UFC champions don't even make that, right? Walter, what, the dad was a complete psychopath. I didn't read about that, man. I didn't know. There was Guy Waters, wasn't there, who was more of a boxer, and Troy Waters, who was more of a come-forward fighter. Troy Waters, he fought Terry Norris, didn't he? He dropped Terry Norris, but he ended up getting stopped, right? Would Kimbo Slice be in the BKFC if he was still around? Oh, 100%. Because he wasn't good enough to be a pro boxer. He tried it. He knocked out a few bums. He wasn't good enough to be a UFC fighter. He got beaten by, I don't know what, Matt Mitrione, that big cowboy guy with a belly. He got knocked out in 12 seconds by Seth Petruzzelli, who came in on one day's notice with pink hair and was outweighed by like 30 pounds, and he knocked out Kimbo. But yeah, Kimbo's got a son who's tried to fight, but it's not happening, man. Yeah, Terry Norris vs. Waters was a great fight. Problem with Troy Waters is he was just your original tough guy. He was too easy to hit, but he was a really good fighter. Let me look at his record, right? Because he did drop Terry Norris. Terry Norris, and there's a good YouTube video on him, had quite a few losses, but he was very talented. Julian Jackson sparked him out. But Terry Norris beat up Sugar Ray Leonard. He got knocked out by Simon Brown. He was a weird fighter. Yeah, Troy Waters fought for the world title a few times. He lost the majority decision to Simon Brown, so he got close. Troy Waters almost won a world title, you could say, but and he dropped Terry Norris, but he got stopped. He knocked out a bunch of other world level guys. Felix Trinidad knocked him out in a round, but he was completely gone by then, and then he retired. But yeah, Troy Waters was your typical tough Australian fighter. Oh, Leigh Taylor, great to see you. Emperor Michael's a strange dude. Yeah, he's nuts. I used to speak to him on Skype when he's Apollo James Jackson. Last time I spoke to him, we disagreed over Eritrea. He also has a strange obsession with Julius Caesar. He's definitely, I'm not a professional psychologist, right? But he's almost certainly autistic. But I don't dislike him. It just really annoyed me that after I buoyed him, I made videos on him, buoying him. I invited him on the channel. He just turned. Just because I said, of course you should spar Sonny Edwards. You're in shape. You're in shape. You got 3 days notice. Go and spar Sonny Edwards. You outweigh him by 50 pounds. You spar Sonny Edwards. Why don't you spar Sonny Edwards? Because I'm not the one who's talking about it. And I wasn't in shape for a fight, you Eritrean bum. Also, your food looks like dog shit. Your food looks like, yeah, a dog took a huge shit on the floor, yeah, and then a cat came up and was curious and ate the dog shit and was sick on the floor. That's what Eritrean food looks like. Box. Mike Perry's the best black fighter in Detroit. Yeah. There's a big joke about the fact he's black, and he also said, like, well, according to 23andMe, or I'm 1% black, so I'm black. So, but Mike Perry's a very tough guy, but he's not that skillful. I don't see any reason why he'd go back to the UFC. UFC getting investigated by the FBI, number one. Number two, his best ever payday was $500,000 from the bare knuckle. I can't believe you get that in UFC. And if he fights Conor McGregor, he'll be earning $1 million. So he's crazy to want to go back to UFC. And they won't have him anyway. Green vs. Briggs had a massive betting plunge for Green, right? We're talking about Paul Briggs vs. Danny Green, right? So a huge betting plunge for Green to win by KO in round one. 200,000 was put on my syndicate. The most rigged fight I've seen. Yeah, he didn't even hit him. He just dropped. And it was disappointing because Danny Green was yet another tough guy. Danny Green knocked out Roy Jones, didn't he? Am I right? And so he did. He knocked out Roy Jones, right? So, yeah, I mean, weird things happen. Funnily enough, in Australia, which you consider to be a very civilized country, you remember when, what's his name, Lucas Brown got knocked out in a round by Paul Galen? That was very dodgy. That, he didn't like he didn't mean hit. Lucas Brown's doing BKB, by the way. Right away. Unboxing is in the house. Great to see you, man. Come on, bro. Hey, Jimmy, I'm sorry I'm late for the stream. Oh, don't worry, brother. It's great to see you. I didn't announce it till late, so, you know. Owen Foster, Meldrick Taylor's punch drunk. Yeah, Meldrick Taylor was extremely skillful, but Julio Cesar Chavez ruined him, right? And Chavez stopped him with 2 seconds left. And everyone's going, oh, that's disgraceful. Oh, it's a Don King. It's rigged. And because Chavez was Don King fighter. Possibly. But you could also argue that it's not up to the referee to know what, how much time is left in the round. And Meldrick Taylor was in pieces. They rematched. Chavez destroyed him. Meldrick Taylor was never the same after Chavez battered him. Oh, Michael Malone, I remember. Oh, you remember Weirdo Emperor Michael years back in Miguel's gym? Weird dude. Yeah, it's Brixton gym, right? Really? You seen him there, man? Yeah. What kind of stuff was he doing? He's a weird guy. Like, on the one hand, right? So he's not had any amateur fights. He's had some like white collar, which is basically just unlicensed amateur, but he's also sparred some good guys. He sparred Kell Brook, you know, a world champion. And I know it's only sparring, but still, he sparred Kell Brook. He sparred Dillian White's husband, Dean Povetkin. And you know, so he's obviously got some guts, but he was too cowardly to spar Sonny Edwards, who he outweighed by 50 pounds. So it's very weird. He's a weird guy, man. Yeah, you never ate Eritrean food. Funny enough, last time I was in central London, I was walking around. I saw Eritrean restaurant. I thought, I've got to eat there, and then I've got to rinse it. But I didn't. I mean, you know, cyborg. Outlaw practice boxing. Governance and Western law was written by one of my uni lecturers. Okay, for his PhD. Wow, that's an interesting bit of research. It's quite interesting, but no longer on sale, I don't think. Boxing is very dodgy. It's one of the easiest sports to fix, in the sense that you buy the ref, you buy the judges, or you buy one of the fighters. It's not that difficult. The other sport that's really easy to fix is the NFL, because all you got to do is buy the quarterback. You buy a couple of the refs who throw flags. You buy a trainer, and there's all this weird stuff. I told you again and again, the NFL is legally a sports entertainment company, like the WWE. It's not a sports company. It's a sports entertainment company. And what that means, it gives them leverage. It gives them legal leverage, so that even if it was fixed, they go, well, hang on, but we're legally an entertainment company. Go and look. There's loads and loads and loads and loads of YouTube videos about the NFL being rigged. Check it out, man. Yeah, Mel Taylor was gone. The ref didn't know the time. Yeah, it's not up to him. I mean, I'm sure he was in Don King's pocket, but still, man. Everyone in the know, boxing tackles knew Paul Briggs was punched out before his Green fight. Yeah, Danny Green carried on after the fight, but he knew Briggs was a tomato can at that stage in his career, I guess you say. You know, it was yet another one of those Aussie fights with past it guys, and they probably made you pay pay-per-view, man. Railway, yeah, I see Otto Wallin fight. It looked terrible. Well, it looked like a fix, right? Like the other guy who's a fat ex-middleweight, out of shape, threw one overhand right, I think, in the entire fight. It missed. Otto threw a left uppercut that didn't seem to connect, and down goes Chris, whatever his name was, Thomas. And he fell on his ass, right, against the ropes. And he wasn't going to get up, you could tell. But halfway through the count, he suddenly turned over. Huh? On his stomach, so he was flat out like that. It's a fixed fight, man. Kane Dingle, time jail is jail, thankfully. He'll be there for years. Bro, you've been saying that on the comments, but there's no proof of this. You said it's for mortgage fraud. You don't get remanded for mortgage fraud. It's not. I've searched everywhere. I've wasted my time searching to see if there's any case. I can't find it. Yeah, you don't get remanded for mortgage fraud. Okay? So, come on, man. Either come up with some proof or stop talking about it. Just seen Brand and Alex Jones topless on InfoWars? What, Russell Brand with the 33 tattoos? Forget about it, man. You gonna watch Christy Martin biopic film? No. It's already released in America. Yeah, I've seen it on my stick. But I think it's going to be released in the UK at the end of the month. No, I'm not going to. It's got Sydney Sweeney, who allegedly is quite hot. You know, but you know, you can go to any club in London and find 10, 15 Sydney Sweeneys. Believe that. No, I'm not going to watch that because it's going to be fake. It's going to be full of agenda, and it'll be full of lies. You know, remember the film? They did a film about Reuben Hurricane Carter. I can't remember what it is called. And he was beat by Joey Giardello clearly in his world title fight. And they made out Carter to be the victim of racism and an innocent guy. This was a guy who was a well-known criminal who took a gun into the UK, and Joey Giardello beat him clearly. and Giardello's family actually took the film to court. That's what Hollywood is, lies. Will you watch UFC today? Nah, because I'll watch it the next day. Oh, the white guy just won the fight. Aussie just won the fight. Not that it matters. Beat Jermaine Brown. So, no, because it's just one of those fight nights, isn't it? There's no big fights on it. I'll watch it the next day. And UFC is struggling for stars. There was that Aspinall fight, which was disgrace to the outsider. And the reason I'm saying that, I'm not blaming Aspinall, because he did get very badly poked in the eye, and that Cyril Gahn was so dirty. I think if you poke someone in the eye, you should be just disqualified. There has to be a way to. John Jones used to poke people in the eye all the time. You know, people were criticizing Aspinall, saying he quit. I don't know, man. The fingers went quite deep in his eye, but the UFC is really struggling at the moment. Could Junior Prime beat Otto Wallin? I'd beat him now. He's a bum. The card said Otto Wallin was average. Yeah, it seems heavyweights these days are overweight, middleweight. Well, yeah, for sure. Railway. Who do you think Otto Wallin fights next? I think he should fight Joe Joyce. I hope Joe Joyce, who I like, who's a likable guy, and he must have made some good money. And he's not one of those idiots that spends money on stupidities. He should retire. I'm sorry. He doesn't sound great. He shipped a lot of punches. You know, I remember the weirdest thing was this. When Zhilei Zhang knocked him out, I did a video on this in 3 rounds. Sparko. They interviewed him afterwards. He goes, yeah, I really enjoyed the fight. I'm like, mate, are you tripping? You didn't land a punch and you got ironed out in front of everyone. But, you know, if Joe Joyce was going to have a fight, Otto Wallin is not the kind of guy that's going to hurt him. The Hurricane, that was the name of the film. I didn't watch it, man. Chittleby would have kicked the shit out of Wallin now. And Wallin's such a bum. I can't understand. Do you know I'm shocked he gave... I know it was because of the cut. And Otto Wallin was very dirty. He kept on scraping the cut with his gloves. I can't believe he gave Tyson Fury a tough fight. Tyson must have just had a very bad night. Didn't Ruben Carter smash a glass in a guy's face? He was a career criminal. He's a piece of shit. But if you watch the Hollywood film, he's the victim of racism, and he should have won the world title. I mean, it makes me sick, man. That's right, man. The Hurricane has just joined a cult. The film is BS. It is. It's starting now, the UFC. I mean, is it? Oh. Yeah, but it's a fight night. There's not anything good. At the moment, I'm watching the rubbish, The Heist, and it's got Dave Caldwell, the nonce, who likes to turn the heat up and wrestle with 11-year-old boys. This is written. Callum Simpson's on. Callum Simpson is the guy they're trying to push. I think he's with Boxer, so I don't know why he's on this, but I don't rate him at all. I don't rate him. Yeah, it was a joke, but what do you think? It's Hollywood, man. Are you watching Eubank G-Levy's bum next week? Yes, I am. I don't know. I'm not looking for. I don't care. I'll do it live. I will certainly not pay for that piece of shit. I met a man in the pub who said he didn't know what to do this Saturday night. Now, Strictly Come Dogs is finished. He reckoned the Lionesses would beat most men's football teams. I mean, I know you're joking, but I've literally heard these things said to me. In fact, I was in the pub today before I did the live, right? And I'm sitting down just with one pint. I'm looking through my messages, this kind of thing. Just going, man, there's got to be a better life. And there's these 3 women, middle-aged, and they're talking about something called the Traitors. I don't know what it is. Apparently, it's really big on TV, right? Because I look at mainstream news just to know what BS they're pushing on us. And these people were getting so obsessed with the Traitors and analyzing it. Oh, but psychologically, that person did so well because they were hiding the fact they were actually not a traitor. And I'm just like, this is what you talk about. I also talked to another a guy, a friend of mine, and he's going on about traders, and I'm like, come on, man, I'm not interested in that shit. He goes, no, but this is what it's about. 10 minutes I sat there listening. I said, you still haven't sold it to me, man. I'm not watching that shit, man. You know? Red thing, remember when Dubon made that stupid comment about Joe Joyce's mum? Oh, she's blind. She's not going to watch her kid getting out. Yeah, but that wasn't him. You can see Daniel Dubon is actually quite a sweet guy. Yes, he's a cheat with his huge HGH. Yeah, you can see the HGH usage on his knuckles, but he's not a nasty guy. I think he's quite likable. He was obviously fed that line by Fish Eyes, and if you watch the actual what's it called? If you watch the press conference when he says that, yeah, Fish Eyes looks over with a huge grin on his fishy, greasy face because he's so proud that Daniel Dubon remembered to use that line, which he fed him. And Joe Joyce is very sweet. He goes, oh, what a nice guy you are. But like, you know, that was clearly a line fed to Dubon. Chris Dubon get a special status. Now she's lesbian free. Oh, yeah. Her trainer was a really old guy, right? And now she's a rug muncher. Yeah. Okay, I don't know how much longer. Oh, Valine was 250 his last fight. Yeah, he was fighting a guy who was 245 pounds, almost the same as him, but he used to fight as a middleweight. What a bum. This is a random, I like random, non-topic boxing questions. Have you ever seen The Passion of Christ 2004, directed by Mel Gibson? Firstly, God bless you. No, I haven't. And there's a reason for that. And they're making a remake, Mel Gibson, who seems to be, although he has been pictured doing that, he seems to be one of the few based Hollywood guys. He always pushes Christianity. But he's doing the resurrection of Christ. So he's doing the resurrection of Christ. Now, which is if the follow-up, if you want, you know. But the reason I haven't watched it is because it's a very gruesome and very... And this is what happened. Being whipped, being tortured, being crucified is some of the most vile punishment possible. But I just couldn't bear to watch my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in a film with that kind of violence. So no, I didn't, mate. Right. Generally, what the F is wrong with people? Well, unfortunately, Michael, most people are idiots and NPCs. Yeah, Prime One. It's quite weird. Women getting obsessed about serial killing documentaries and the glorification of killers. I mean, you get all these killers and these women are writing to them and right. There's one especially. Go and watch the Memphis 3. They did an HBO series saying how innocent they were. And when I watched it, I was like, I can't believe the miscarriage of justice. And then I looked into it. They clearly, the evidence is all there. There was confessions. There was loads of evidence. And the lawyer of the Damien guy, who was the creepiest guy, the Satanist, I think they got married. Yeah, I don't know what's going on about it. The remake's called Resurrection Christ. Yeah, as I said, split in different parts. The first part will begin in hell, apparently. I mean that's the thing. It's a very difficult thing for a Christian to watch. Even the Bible's very dark, and I read the Bible daily. But it's difficult, man. Yeah, that film's brutal. That's why I didn't watch it. Christ's brutal end was one of the cartel videos. Yeah, incredibly shocking when you learn the details of it. Yeah, I can't stand to watch sadism and brutal violence, to be honest. Peter Rich, I had to turn the sound today when it was a woman commentating on NTV Australia. It's ridiculous. What are they playing? Football or rugby league? How much longer have you been live for? I don't know, man. I don't know because, I'm not really watching. I'm enjoying it, Kane Dingle boxing. I thought you were getting Terry Marsh on TV. Well, we've talked about it, and maybe it'll happen. But don't think I don't know your game. Originally, because blind faith and wishful thinking. Well, that's what I used to think until you look into it. The most, the guy with the highest IQ is called Sun Koo Min or something. He's from South Korea. Allegedly, an IQ of 276. And also a bunch of other people said all the odds point towards there being a creator. Evolution is one of the biggest scams of all time. Even when I was an atheist, I was like, this is too ridiculous. The number of the unlikeliness of all those exact things having to happen to produce this world is so ridiculous to be discounted. But I don't really care. Has anyone seen Conspiracy of Silence documentary? It rings a bell, but I can't remember, bro. The longer the stream, the better. I like your content. Thanks, bro. Yeah, I'm sorry you're late. I've done 2 hours and 25 minutes. The problem is now, right, because I stopped paying for StreamYard because StreamYard went from £22, which is a rip-off anyway, to £35 a month. A month. Yeah, just so I can put a few banners up, like here and there, and and do intro videos. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So now I'm on the free version, but the free version only allows me 20 hours a month. So I have to limit what I do. There are other possibilities for streaming. There's a couple of free ones. I can't remember what they're called. There's a couple of the Riverside's only $19. But the problem is once you're used to something, it can be different to move. Rambler, Triple B is Porky. He's got Rocky the dog down there. He's going to feed him some pickled onions. No idea what you're talking about. What's my game, Triple B? Well, because you keep on talking about Time Booth in the comments, saying he's been nicked, he's been put on remand, and he's been put in Doncaster prison now for mortgage fraud. But I know the legal system. You will not be remanded for mortgage fraud, right? Number one. Number two, right? What? Time Booth lived in some bedsit. So what mortgage did he have? And how did he defraud mortgage? It's very hard to commit mortgage fraud. So I'm asking, where's your proof that he's in Doncaster prison? That's what I'm asking. I think I don't believe. With all respect, I don't believe what you're saying. That's it. I need some proof. How can I? Yeah. I think you're stirring the pot a bit. There's no proof that Time Booth is in prison. There is no proof that he's ever had a mortgage. There is no proof. What? No one gets put on remand for mortgage fraud. There. Okay? Enough. That's right. It's a bit like saying you get locked up for not paying credit cards. Right. And mortgage fraud is most like, I'm not sure, but I'm fairly sure it's a civil case. It's a civil case. If it's a civil case, you don't get put in prison. Okay? Fireworks. No, man. Gunshots, man. Roadmen shooting people. I can hear some banging in the background. Yeah, man, obviously. Yeah, man. Because I live in the hood. I'm going to give it, right? I've been 2.5 hours, right? I've really enjoyed it, as I always do with my funds. I had some great comments. I've had some generosity. But because I can only have 20 hours a month on StreamYard, I'm going to end it soon. So 5 more minutes, right? Evolution is basically a City of London funded psyop. Thank you. Even David Hume, the father of empiricism, admitted empiricism gives no first cause explanation, i.e. that something can come from nothing, right? That's the other thing. think about the ridiculousness of this. So evolution, oh, it starts with the Big Bang. There was nothing, and then there was an explosion, and loads of things suddenly appeared. That alone is ridiculous. Charles Darwin is the father of evolution, who basically did a bit of research on an island, looked at some dodos and a few bones, and he came to his conclusion. Go and look at the evidence for evolution. It's so weak. People accept it because they taught it in school, right? Not only that, but Charles Darwin, a secret society guy, admitted, also said in his latter years, evolution's rubbish. So the ego says definitely a creator. So the father of evolution even admits evolution is rubbish. That's actually the reason why I was there on stream, because I was at fireworks. Why is there fireworks? It's, what is it, 8th of November? Oh, what? Oh, because there's 5th of November was Guy Fawkes night. Yeah, Guy Fawkes night is a weird thing, you know, because why do people, I know it's a party and everything, but people are supporting and getting excited about something they know nothing about. Good stream, says Owen. Thank you, brother. How much is the stream card price for the month? Well, it used to be £22, but now it's 35. So I can't. Already, the kind people that give me, you know, super checks are getting rinsed. Both of us are getting rinsed for 30%. My ad revenue, 90% they take. And then I've got to pay 35 quid a month just so I can put some graphics. Come on, man. It's a scam. There's never been nothing, can't have been right. How can nothing become something? It's impossible. Also, there's a law called Occam's razor, which says if you have limited evidence or certain bits of evidence, the most likely real explanation is the most probable one. Something like that. And the likelihood of evolution being real and a bunch of planets forming out of nothing, who are exactly the right place from the sun, who have exactly the right constituents of water, of carbon, of this and that, and then not only out of that, out of a bunch of mud, you started to get these small creatures. Oh, come on, man. The trillions upon trillions upon trillions of random acts that had to happen for evolution to be true is so unlikely and so ridiculous as to be not even worthy of value. Whereas the other explanation, which is someone intelligent designed, someone has created a world that works, is so much more likely. Is not if you right. If I walk down the street, if there's a guy from medieval times, I looked at this technology that we're looking at now, or I looked at a watch which is perfectly made, or I looked at the internet, what would be your first? What would be most likely? Someone created it, Iron Man, or no, it actually came from mud. It came from mud and char. I mean, you got to be an idiot to believe in a revolution, man. Thank you, says Michael's right. Plenty of scientists, and there's even been loads and loads and loads of, even in the mainstream media, loads of scientists, including this guy who had the highest IQ in the world, said the explanation is there's a creator. What the creator looks like, and then what? Well, that's a different question. But to imagine that there was nothing and then something happened and then some random stuff happened and some random molecules and some mud happened and out of this grew sophisticated, oh, piss off, man. Yeah, it's a money-making machine, but also Halloween is about Aleister Crowley, who's a Satanist. He said, he laughed, he's quoted as saying he loves the fact that all these Christian children dress up as undead and support the biggest satanic festival of the year. Will you do another stream soon? Hopefully I can watch the whole stream. Yeah, sure, brother. Okay, I gotta go quickly now. We're gonna stop soon. You know the Columbine shooters, that's what they said to one of the victims. Do you believe in God? When they said yes, they said, well, go be with him and shot her. If she said no, might they not have? Well, that's speculation. Who knows? These guys. By the way, go and have a look at the early life section of the Columbine shooters and go and look at what meds they were on. What is it? Should be your favorite non-fiction book apart from the Bible, and your favorite fiction book? Deep question. I will have to think about it because I've read so much. I'm not really interested in fiction because there's so much interesting stuff. But I generally, off the top of my head, I can't answer that honestly. Okay, we're finishing it round. Which if there's no shooters in the library, hide on the desk and try and die and escape. Truck question. Some play dead and smile. I don't know. Who knows, man? I've been in that situation. No one knows. People go, oh, I know what I'd do. I'd get up and I'd put them in a rear naked choke and kill them. Like, no one knows how they're going to react under extreme circumstances. I had a brilliant chat with the Mongolian philosophy student on transatlantic flight. His dad is a Torah translator, though, agnostic. He said, theoretical maths provides more questions than it answers. Heavy. I bought you 3 coffees and it worked. Oh, Peter, you've been so generous, man. You don't have to be so generous. God bless you. God bless your family. I'm going to end on this because that was kind, man. I won on the football. Well done, man. Aliens are here already. Aliens is a different subject, a difficult subject, because some of them think that it will be a false blue beam experiment and there aren't really aliens. Other people think there definitely are. But I'm not sure. Have you read Bukowski? What? Charles Bukowski? Nah, I ain't gonna read him either. He did too many drugs. He was a pervert, right? Okay, that's it for tonight. So I say thank you to Shane Bongos, obviously, who's bought some nice black underwear for Kirsty. So make sure you update us on that. Donnie, who gave me the Korean Corey King, the Triple K. Donnie. 10,001 from Korea. Tinto brass balls with a tenner. Shane Bongos needs some Grace Jones love. Shane Bongos again, 66. Thank you. Yes, with the black underwear. Peter Richards, who's been extremely generous recently. God bless you. With a tenner and £25 yesterday, and buy me a coffee. Without further ado, Retro. By the way, without further ado, Retro. So go look at his channel. Go check out his channel. We'll talk about it more, brother. Next time I should mention your channel more because I love retro gaming. It's all about retro games, so check it out. You can tell me what you want me to promote. Again, Tommy Guns was here, very glad. So God bless you all. Yeah. Take care of yourselves. McDonald family. Oh, hello, brother. She'll be Howie Champ. Good. I hope so do I. I hope you're good too. I hope everyone's good. God bless everyone. Right. Always question everything, and peace in the Middle East.